Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, November 4th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got WWE Crown Jewel from Saudi Arabia. Yes, I know it's very, very early, 10 a.m. Pacific time, but we are going to do this pay-per-view. And then also we are going to do the Washington Huskies versus the USC Trojans a few hours later this afternoon. I am ready, and they just announced that they are going to start off with the pay-per-view. And obviously we have it right here, Crown Jewel, and right now, Saudi Arabia. But we're going to be right here, and we're going to go Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, two of my favorites in WWE right now. Should be a great one. One of the top, maybe two matches all night. The card actually looks pretty good. Hope everyone is doing really, really well. And Odin's son, dropped a 50 spot last night, not knowing if I was going to do this pay-per-view or if I was going to double dip. And I was going to end up doing possibly the Blazer game last night against the Grizzlies, but I just watched that with Paisley instead. Had Sarah take the day off. We've been working pretty much every day for the last 3 months, and I knew that we were going to be doing 2 streams today, so I didn't want to waste any energy on that Mavericks matchup last night. So I said, with that NBA, let's do WWE Crown Jewel, and then let's do the Huskies and USC so we can see Michael Penix Jr. and Caleb Williams. So Lenny D in the building, what's good? And I imagine we'll get a few others trickling in. And shout out to my boy Odin's son with a 50 spot to make sure that we get at least halfway to our goal before the stream even starts. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $50 holla. Let's go. And let me throw up a few photos for Odin's son. I don't know. He said he might be a little busy, but he'll probably try to drop in. Elliot in the building. Let's try to get to 20 likes. I don't know how many people we're going to have. Now, if this pay-per-view was on at 5 p.m. Pacific time, maybe, the turnout would be a little bit like really only the diehards are going to be here, right? We already know what our wrestling family is like. A lot of people that watch us do the football, the basketball, the baseball, and the hockey, they may not be wrestling fans. I feel if you're an NFL fan or a college football fan, you're probably a wrestling fan as well, but not everybody. But if you're diehard, right, you're going to be here with me. And these streams are kind of special. We might have some streams that are bigger than others, but I like the group of people that we typically have in here. We are diehards, and a lot of us have been watching from, the 80s, maybe the 70s, some of us in the 90s, and then maybe as early as the early 2000s for some of us, like our young buck Double E Elliott in the building. Let's go. $50 right out of the gates. That's awesome. Let me get some Bray Wyatt up for him. And I don't think he's in the room yet at this moment. Otherwise, he'd be typing in the chat. And he might be a little busy with, work and kids and other things. But want to make sure that we show a little love for the love that he provides to the channel. Many, many, days, many, many weeks, many, many years. He is the original OG to the channel. And he was the first person to donate big to the channel years ago. And obviously, I have not forgotten that. Let's go, baby. All right, let's get some Bray Wyatt up here for our boy. Appreciate you, Odin's son, always doing big things. And then we'll be doing the Huskies and Trojans later today also. I'll have like a couple-hour break because I haven't made the thumbnail yet. And I need to take Paisley for another walk, but it's pouring down rain here in Oregon. It's pretty cloudy, pretty rainy, but we were able to do an hour walk around 7:45, 8 o'clock. So I got back about a half hour ago, and so I was able to make the thumbnail and kind of get everything situated and whatnot. So, but I'm ready. I am ready, and I'm excited that they're starting off with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. I think that's a great choice. How's everybody doing this early Saturday morning? Let's go. Let me get one more up here for him. And then if he comes through, I can throw some other ones up there. But I got to show every phase of the Fiend, right? We got to make sure we're showing that proper love. Odin's son loves Bray Wyatt. And hopefully if the donos get bigger, down the road, that maybe I can even get him like a Bray Wyatt autograph as a gift. There's only, so many people that donate heavy to the channel, and I want to make sure that we take care of those people. You take care of me, I'm going to take care of you. Big facts. Let's go. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. And the pay-per-view looks pretty good. I would say that there's a couple matches that look like they could be average, but overall, I think in the pay-per-view, it looks overall pretty good. Thank you for helping out with Sarah with the live stream there. So as we're looking at, the matches and we're getting things, scrolled here. So we got Roman and LA Knight for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. That should be good. The first match of the night, we're going to actually roll it right here. And I like to be able to open up. Usually the match that opens is typically the second best match, or it has a chance to steal the show and be the best match. So I like it that we're going to be going here with the first match, Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre with the World Heavyweight Championship match. I like that. Then we got the greatest of all time, John Cena versus Sikoa. I'm not really sure how good that match is going to be. That one probably is going to be maybe a 7, right? And then we got the fatal 5-way women's world championship match. Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. With that one, it depends on what kind of spots we're going to see in that match. Same thing with the Cena and the Sikoa. If I was just looking at the card, I would say that the fatal 5-way women's match will probably be a 7 with an upside to an 8, 8.5 if they have some cool double team, triple team moves and some cool spots with some weapons or chairs or tables or whatever it may be, right? And then Cena and Sikoa, same thing. I think though those two might be the lowest of the matches tonight, that one might be a 7, but if it ends up being a little bit better than we think, then it has potential maybe to be an 8, but also too, those matches could end up being as bad as 5s or 6s. But for the rest of the matches, we got WWE Women's Championship match, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I'm actually looking forward to this one a lot. Then we got also Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul. You already know how I feel about Rey and Eddie Guerrero. I love the Lucha Libre style. And I know a lot of people hate on Logan. I don't watch him, on Impulsive or anything he does on YouTube or socials. But in the ring in WWE, I love him. I think he's athletic. He's a good talker, just like he is on social media, building his own brand. And it's a matter of time before he actually ends up getting a belt. Could he end up getting the belt tonight? I think it's a possibility. At some point you're going to have to give him the belt. And obviously, having guys like Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny, and Logan Paul, originally you were trying to get their fan base to join WWE's fan base. And that way they can grow even more, just like with the Taylor Swift and the NFL. So at some point, how do you get more of Logan Paul's diehard fans on social media that may not be wrestling fans to come to WWE? To give him the strap and to give him the belt at some point. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. And I think I like that one as well. So we got 5 matches that look like they're going to be an 8 or better. And then we got the fatal 5-way women's and Cena and Sikoa that look like they're going to be 7s, but it could be as high as an 8. But don't be disappointed if both of those matches end up being 5s or 6s. Not every card is going to be out of the park. We got 7 matches. I see 5 really, really good ones, and then 2 that look average or below average with potential to be better. And if I had to say which one would be better between Cena and Sikoa or the Fatal 5 Women's, I would say the Fatal 5 Women's because there's 5 women in it. So you already know that there's going to be more moves, more spots, more action. So realistically, the Cena and Sikoa is kind of just for the fans of John Cena, in Saudi Arabia, being able to see him participate before he, pretty much hangs it up like The Undertaker did. But you guys give me your thoughts. You guys let me know what you think about my predictions and how things are going to go. And then we can go with the predictions as well. We can go through the predictions here on what we're thinking. And obviously, some of y'all are watching, WWE, Raw, SmackDown, everything in between, and NXT. So you guys let me know. And I got it on the app on my TV, and I'm also watching it right now through Peacock TV through my computer. So just to give you guys a heads up, like I normally tell everyone, depending on what device you're watching, it's slightly faster if you're going to watch it on the computer than you're going to be watching it on your TV app. Right now, the TV app is about, I don't know, I would say about 15 to 20 seconds behind, kind of like when we stream some of the shows for sports with some of those streaming sites. It's not horribly behind, but again, the TV, I have the audio up so you guys can hear it in the background. And then obviously the computer in front of me, is the feed is a little bit faster, about 20 or 30 seconds. So if you want to see it as live as possible, I recommend watching it on your computer through Peacock TV. If you don't have an opportunity to be in front of a computer, if you're watching me on there, then you can watch it through the app on your TV. And just know it's just going to be about 15 to 30 seconds behind. Just giving everyone a big heads up. What's good, brother? How are you? 50 doll hairs. Let's get to a hundo. LA Knight, yeah. Let's go. Finley in the building. What's good? What's good? How are you? Montez Sweat extension for 4 years, $98 million. So they're trying to act like, this is the Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith replacement. It's a good start, but they need a hell of a lot more. But that definitely helps them up front going into next year if they decide to do Caleb Williams and, Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. So we will see. Yeah, the card looks pretty good. Like I said, I see 5 really good matches with maybe 2 of them being elite that have a chance to be a 9 or a 10, 3 that could be an 8 or a 9, 9.5. And then I got 2 that could be somewhere between a 5 and a 7. Then that women's match could be as high as an 8, but I don't see the Cena match and Solo Sikoa even getting to an 8. I would be shocked if that one ends up being an 8, because if we end up getting all 8s or higher, then this is going to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year. But overall, just looking at the eye test, glancing at the card, 5 out of 7 look pretty fire. 1 has potential to be better than maybe we think with the Fatal 5-Way Women's. And then the Cena and Sikoa is kind of just for the fans of John Cena, for all those Saudi princes that got all of those dollars that, paying for those good seats. So we will see. Yes. Yes, I agree. I did. I don't know. Anytime that you're able to be a legend, right? And it's like, with football players that think they can still play like Colin Kaepernick, right? You might be Hulk Hogan, you might be Ric Flair, Undertaker, whatever it may be. Your body cannot handle it, especially with like Hogan, with all the knee surgeries and everything. But sometimes, even if you got a flabby, body, your chest is flabby, you're old, you're wrinkly, you're a legend still. So I guess it just depends on the owner or owners, if it's Khan or if it's Vince or if it's, the new brand. They're like, all right, Ric Flair, you got your Woo energy drink and you got your dispensary, edibles and all that. He's trying to make money. The bottom line, Ric Flair is just trying to make money, survive, keep himself relevant in the wrestling business. And I'm not really sure about maybe Ric Flair in the ring, maybe as like a manager, if you want to promote your energy drink or your dispensary products and whatnot. But as long as we get AEW and WWE putting out good shows, I think that's really all that matters. If you're a wrestling fan, some people are WWE only, some are AEW only, some are both like myself. And I also appreciate ROH, Impact, and NJPW a lot. But again, everyone is going to have something they lean towards. For me growing up, I love WWF. But then when WCW got a lot of the NWO guys and ECW started to emerge in the mid-90s, RVD, Sabu, and obviously many, many others, Masato Tanaka, Mike Awesome, Tajiri, I could go on and on and on, right? The franchise, Shane Douglas, just incredible, right? I can go all the way down the list. I was really more of an ECW, WCW guy, but I loved, Hogan and Demolition and the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, Legion of Doom, so I still have a lot of love. It just depends on what kind of wrestling you like. If you want the most hardcore, ECW. If you want the best presentation and the legends, it was WCW when they had NWO. If you're a big DX fan, then you're going to be WWF, depending on where you're at. And I still got a lot of love for Stone Cold and The Rock as well. And here we go. Seth Rollins, baby. Let's go. The throwback, yeah. The only problem is right now is I got football. We got Thursday night football. So after football is over, yeah, we could definitely go back and do some throwback wrestling Thursdays, and maybe get a small group where we can find a link and watch, like a pay-per-view together, or possibly watch a certain type of match. Like we can all get the link and then we can all watch like a throwback match together, something like that. But I definitely would be down. I want the wrestling community to be a little bit higher. But again, like I said, some of us, that follow baseball and NASCAR and basketball, they're not about that life. But I think a lot of us, we love wrestling and football go hand in hand better than peanut butter and jelly. He's like, I forgot about football. I know, because we love wrestling so freaking much, right? We love wrestling so freaking much. Like, honestly, if wrestling isn't up there with you, right next to football, then you're not on the same level as me or Lenny D or Sarah or Odin's son. Like, sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I like wrestling even more than football. And for someone to say that loves the NFL and college football, that's really saying something, that wrestling is going to be a part of my life through and through. It's never going away, and I'm going to be watching it to, the day I die. Big facts. And one of my favorite things to collect still is wrestling merch, wrestling clothes, wrestling t-shirts, vintage and new. I got the NWO Wolfpack jacket on right now for life, and I love vintage wrestling figures as well as elite figures that are on now. Big facts. But yeah, he's like, oh, I forgot about football. Yeah, Thursday night football. But remember, some of the Thursday night football matches aren't that good, but I still got to keep up on that. But once football is over, yes, if that will be a way for me to be able to get you, in the streams other than Eagle football once in a while or these pay-per-views once a month, I'm definitely willing to do that, brother. Let's go, Drew McIntyre, baby. Let's go. Sarah with the tour. Thank you so much. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Crown Jewel, bang, bang. Let's go. $52 hairs. Let me know what you want to see. Bang, baby. Let's go. 48 to go. All right. Let's go. This is my favorite big man in wrestling. Like I said, I feel that he's a great talker. He didn't really get a chance to be able to showcase all his skills, when we had COVID, because, he was champ and there was nobody there. So he didn't really get a chance to feel the emotion of the crowd. And like I said, if Seth were to drop the belt, I couldn't think of a better person for him to drop it to, either tonight or in the future, than Drew McIntyre, unless Drew can get the championship belt, from Roman, or something of that nature. But hey, Seth freaking Rollins, what do you know about that, right? Let's go. Let's go. And both guys can be great as faces. Both guys are great as heels. I think they're better as heels. I think any wrestler ends up, if you're have the charisma and you have the mic skills, right, and you got the in-ring skills, right, you're always going to be better as a heel than a face. It just depends on who you go against, if you are the face in that situation or not. Let's go. Let's go. I'm glad they're starting off with this match too. Eagles, Cowboys. Oh, Eagles. I ain't a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? And it's not like I hate the Cowboys like everyone else on planet Earth. I think the Cowboys are a decent team. They could end up making the playoffs and whatnot. But let's be honest, if the game is in Philadelphia, 100%. If the game is in Dallas, it's still Philadelphia, but it's a little bit closer, maybe 70-30. Just because the Cowboys at home sometimes will get lucky with their fans and how they play. But if you really look at it, the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. Could they end up having a trap game and lose to the Cowboys? Yeah, but the only way that happens is if, like, CeeDee Lamb ends up having a fantasy performance like he did last week, where he ends up scoring like 40 in fantasy and having like 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's really the only way. A pick six, on Jalen, fumbles, you make him play, a bad football game, then, maybe it's possible, but I got Eagles all day, every day. Hybrid in the building. What's good? All right, baby, let's go. And again, if you are watching this right now, the feed that is on Peacock, TV.com on your computer will be slightly faster than the feed on the TV, but it doesn't look like it's that different. Like, I'm watching both right now to see like how, synced up, and they've shortened it down from like 30 seconds, to maybe 15 to 20. There's still a little bit of a delay. Like, if you're watching it on the peacock.com, they're already singled up and they're already grappling each other. And obviously into the turnbuckle. And if you're watching it on the app on your TV, they're staring each other down, just getting ready to lock up. There we go. There's the lockup. So about 20 seconds behind, just giving you guys a heads up. Oh, I know. Next shift in the building. What's good? Yes. And then Preston messaged me last night, and AEW Dynamite is in Portland on Wednesday, and we're going. So I haven't been to an AEW show before. I've never been to a Dynamite or anything else pay-per-view, and he got tickets, so he's picking me up on Wednesday. And I don't know where we're sitting. I could care less if we're front row or if we're at the very, very top, just to be able to see AEW live. Since I've been to many, many WWE shows, I'm very excited about that. So that's what we'll be doing. So there won't be a stream from me on Wednesday since I'm going to AEW. Very excited, man. And I'll have to, I don't know what kind of donations that we're going to be able to get between now and then, but hopefully I'll be able to buy an overpriced $40 t-shirt while I'm there, and I can get myself a Kenny Omega or a Young Bucks or a Jericho or something of that nature. Let's go. I appreciate that. Next shift. Like I said, I don't expect everyone, to be a big wrestling fan. And a lot of times these pay-per-views are going to be on Sundays, but sometimes they're on Saturday. And there's, I think, like a 7-hour difference in Saudi Arabia. So right now, I believe it's around 5 o'clock, but obviously 10 a.m., here Pacific time. So I have the earliest start. I mean, if you're in the Midwest, it's noon. It's 12:15. You're good. If you're on the East Coast, it's 1:15. So for me, I had to wake up extra early to walk my pup and get in here. But we're going to be doing this. I'm going to be following some college football. If there's any amazing scores or upsets, please write it in the chat. And then also on top of that, even though our focus is going to be on this pay-per-view, and then I'm going to be doing the Huskies and the Trojans, Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams. We're going to do that at 4:30. The Ducks play at 2:30, and I never usually miss the Ducks, but they're playing against Cal. Bo Nix is going to fucking dominate. We're going to win by 20+. So I figured, high knee. I think that it would be smarter for me to be able to do the Huskies and the Trojans since they're only going to play probably once. And this would be the opportunity to watch while Oregon and Washington might link up for the Pac-12 championship. And don't be surprised if you see the Huskies or the Ducks in the playoff. Oh, baby. Look at that throwing Seth Rollins like a rag doll. I love it. Yeah, I told him I don't got money for it, but he says that he's going to pay for it. Like I said, if donos were a little bit better, then obviously I would have been able to pay for my own ticket and everything else. But, I got to be able to survive. I got to be able to take care of bills and everything, that needs to be paid off before I start buying shit for myself, which I haven't really been able to do all year. So. Comment below. Let me know what you guys are watching it on. Are you guys watching it on your computer, or are you guys watching it on your app on your TV? That way I'm kind of on the same feed as you guys. I got both feeds on right now. So I got one feed on my computer that's slightly faster. 1, 2, 2. And then the one on the TV is about 30 seconds behind. So I got the one on the TV in the background just for the background noise. And then obviously watching the feed on my computer, which is live. All right, you guys are watching it on the TV? 1, 2, 2. Okay, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody if I'm watching it on the computer and I got a little bit faster. So I'll keep my mouth shut and I'll just react to what we're watching on the TV together then. But if something crazy happens, I can't guarantee I'll be able to keep my mouth shut. I got, like I said, I'm watching both screens at the same time. I got a nice, beautiful HD 4K TV right here. And then I got it expanded here on my screen here on my iMac. So, ooh, big chop. Ooh. Let's go, baby. Yeah, I think, like I said, I don't like if Seth is going to have a belt, we want to make sure glancing blow. We want to make sure that if we're going to have the best people with the belts, the guys that are over, or the guys that deserve it. And honestly, out of anybody that would take the belt from Seth, I don't know if I could name anybody else that would be more deserving of a belt than Drew McIntyre. Like I said, it's like glancing blow. I feel like Drew McIntyre is just kind of a taller version of Seth. You know what I mean? They kind of, he's more buff and he's a bigger type of wrestler, but they both have the charisma. They're both good talkers. They're both good in and out of the ring. They're both good as a face or a heel. There's a lot of, like, they almost could be brothers or like cousins or something. Like, it'd be really awesome is if we could get both of those guys to tag up and to be a tag team. Can you imagine Drew McIntyre and Seth together? I would love that. I think they would dominate too. But if Seth does drop it either tonight or in the future, yeah, I could think of no one better than Drew McIntyre to be able to take it. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, God, Seth dropped the belt to this jobber. Like, I would be like, okay, cool. We're going from one guy I really like, my favorite, to another guy that I really like. One, my favorite overall wrestler in WWE to my favorite big man, And I feel that maybe I'm not the only one that feels that way too, so. Uh-oh. They're down 24-6. Matt Odin's son is probably watching that, not too happy about that. All right, come on, Seth. Let's go. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go to AEW. To be honest, I didn't even know AEW was going to be in Oregon until I looked at the schedule. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I haven't been able to watch, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as much as I would like. I've been doing so much reading and film study, on the NFL and college football and everything else. I haven't been able to watch as often. So, but I try to watch as much as I can, but I have been slipping a little bit. I need to get back to watching every show every week, but sometimes I'm streaming when it's on live. And of course, I live on the West Coast, so I get the West Coast, feed, so I get it a little bit later than some of y'all that get it in the Midwest and the East Coast. 1, 2, 2. No, not in Boston. Indiana. Middle of the country. That's why everyone wanted Notre Dame to be able to join the Big Ten. They got the rivalry with USC every year, right? But everyone loves that Notre Dame, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Notre Dame against those Big Ten teams. Independent school as well, so they haven't actually linked themselves. But if they were going to link, they should have linked with the Big Ten years ago. Nice. Falcon Arrow. 2. I love the Falcon Arrow and the Michinoku driver. I'm just a nerd, so that's why I know all that shit. Like I said, I've been watching, sports and wrestling since 85, and all I do is read and watch film, look at the back of fucking magazines and cards, and look up, fun facts and stats and analytics, so. Yeah, Odin was messaging me last night saying he was worried about that matchup, and I told him, you'll probably get the dub. Well, I guess not. Pedigree countered. McIntyre says, let me give you one. Who's better than Drew McIntyre as a big man in wrestling today? Can you guys name one wrestler that's on the Drew McIntyre level, in your opinion, as far as a big man wrestler on the mic and in the ring? Is there anyone better than Drew? I don't think there is. Oh, superplex. Hang on. Let's go. Oh, counter. Woo, baby. Let's go. 2. I thought we were going to see 2 or 3 suplexes in a row there. That's the first time that we've seen a counter off that Seth Rollins. Suplex off the top, and usually he does 2 or 3. Oh, I love KO. I'm not sure if KO is really considered a big guy. I mean, big guy maybe wide-wise, but not tall-wise. But yeah, you could argue Kevin Owens might be the most slightly overweight, slightly chubby wrestler that doesn't have the steroid look that is best in the ring and best on the mic. You know, like I don't think he's fat. You know what I mean? But he's thick. He's a thicker wrestler. He's not tall. He's a little bit more wide and thick as a wrestler, but he's amazing on the mic and in the ring. I agree with that. Oh! DDT, DDT. 1, 2, 2. Yeah, good choice with the KO. I agree with that. I love him. He's in my top 5. You know, I got Seth, McIntyre, KO, and then you know we'll have to see with Randy Orton and whatnot what we're going to be getting out of him. Like how many more matches are we going to get out of Randy Orton? You know, I don't want him to get paralyzed or to get injured. But I mean, hell, if Daniel Bryan and some of these other people can come back, I mean, especially when you're still in your prime. Yeah, KO is ridiculously athletic for his size. Ridiculously athletic. 1, 2, 2. So it sounds like most of y'all are watching it on your TV through the Peacock app. So I won't spoil anything that I see on the computer screen. I'll just kind of react to what I'm seeing on the TV. Suicide dive, baby. Let's go. I don't want to do any spoilers if I see it through the app on my computer, which is slightly faster. Oh, you did? Nice. So Lenny D, Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl again this year? The defense got more this year than they did last year. Are they going to be able to get some picks and sack lunches, you know, on the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, the Dolphins, Ravens, or whoever the hell they play in the Super Bowl if they get there? You going to win it this year, or are you going to have to wait till next year? I mean, A.J. Brown's playing like a top 2 receiver now with Tyreek. Now it's really up to the defense. I'm not worried about the offense at all. It's about the D-line and the secondary. If you get good production out of your D-line and secondary and adding those Georgia players in the rotation, you guys can win it all. But if you guys shit the bed again and you guys get no sacks and no picks, you're not going to win the Super Bowl, even with as good as your team being as good as they are. You know, maybe an AFC. I think the NFC is better this year, you know, than the AFC. But again, if you go against a Hall of Fame quarterback, you know, like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen or that type or a Joe Burrow, you know, and if you don't get pressure on guys like that, you know, you're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. You have to make errors for those guys. Nice headbutt by Drew. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, reversal into the pedigree. I love it. 1, 2, 2. Yeah, and again, I think that the Eagles, you know, will probably have, you know, like 1 or 2 more Super Bowl appearances in the next 5 years. It just depends if it's this year or if they get knocked off, you know, by a team in an upset. But I mean, as long as they play Eagle football, you know, and you know they can show that they can do it. And obviously, the AFC is much weaker this year than the NFC. It's just, you know, do what you do on offense. You know, even if Jalen, you know, isn't as good this year as last year, hell, they got a first place schedule. That's why. You know, they're not playing on a 4th place or 3rd place schedule. But again, the defense is key. You know, you got Kevin Byard in there now too. So as long as the secondary does their job and you guys can get a few sacks, you know, a few picks, you know, especially as you go deeper into the playoffs, that's really going to help you, you know, try to go all the way. And normally when you make the Super Bowl, you're not going back. You know, normally if you go to the Super Bowl and especially lose, it typically takes a year to be able to rebuild that squad enough to get back the next year, even if you're elite. But it feels like the Eagles have just as good of a chance as the Chiefs, probably a better chance than the Chiefs, because I'm not sure if I believe in that wide receiving core for Kansas City. Oh, Daylight savings time as well. Yeah. Yeah, and congratulations, Finley, on that first win. I know you probably want to get draft picks, but you're going to get it no matter what, and you're going to, you want to try to win games and see improvement week to week. Someone other than Bryce Young and Adam Thielen. But I think everyone on planet Earth was shocked that you guys beat CJ Stroud, even though it was a low scoring game, but you guys did it. So, that's a good sign for Bryce and everything. Oh, big super kick by Seth. Oh, stop. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 2. Oh, my. Oh, my. How much do you think tickets cost for all these princes? All these Saudi princes and all the people that have that mad money. It's like the live golf and everything else. I mean, they're offering crazy amounts. Like how would you like 100 million for 1 year? What? I mean, they got that oil out there and they got that money, boy. Man, I need to get me a Saudi connect. I need to get me a Saudi Prince connect. Be like, hey, dog, you need a 10 mil? Yeah, okay. That's like chump change to them. $10 million to them is like $1 million to someone here. Maybe even more. They got that money, boy. All right, here we go, Seth. High risk. Oh, it always makes me nervous seeing Seth do high risk because, after he had his knee. 1, 2. Oh, 2 count. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, this is definitely a 9.5 to start off the pay-per-view. You already knew. I mean, you got two guys that are 2 of the top 10 most popular, in WWE right now, depending on what brand you like, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Drew, to me, is the best big man on the mic and in the ring as far as being height-wise big man. And, and Seth is incredible. He's one of the most over right now besides LA Knight. Yeah, so great way to start the pay-per-view off with a bang. Yeah. And that's why they started off with this match first, knowing that it could be the best match or the second best match of the pay-per-view. One more time. One more time. Let's go, baby. Shout out to everyone hanging out with your boy. Oh, baby, big super kick. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Is it over? Roll them up. Here we go. 1, 2. And Seth retains. Let's go. That was a 10. That was a 10, baby. Calvin Griffin. Oh, you missed it. The best match of the night. The best match. Seth and fucking Drew McIntyre started it off. Oh, my God. 10 out of 10, bro. So good. I mean, if you want to be a hater, 9.5, but it was excellent. Back and forth, fast. Drew McIntyre, obviously, as a big man, isn't slow. He's great on the mic. He's great in the ring, inside or outside. They even though that one guy's a little bit, shorter, and sometimes when you have a short guy go against a taller guy, sometimes it ends up being a disaster. Like depending on who they would pair up with, like Big Show or Kane or even if Undertaker. Unless it's like Shawn Michaels, then it's a classic. But sometimes you get a big guy and a little guy, or a big guy and a medium-sized guy. Sometimes the chemistry ain't there. And wow, big win. And like I said, I found it very hard to believe that they were going to give Drew the belt there. But again, WWE is starting to become a little less predictable. They used to be very predictable, where we could predict literally the whole pay-per-view. But now it feels like it's about 80% predictable. Every once in a while, you're going to get 1 or 2 surprises, either in this pay-per-view or the next. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, what is this? What is this? Oh, Damian Priest. Oh, is he cashing in? Get the fuck out of here. Is he going to cash in now? What is this? Okay, all right. Priest is cashing. Priest is cashing. We're getting a cash in. He's smiling. Look at him. Oh, who is that? Oh, it's Sami Zayn. Yes. So we're gonna get a Sami Zayn. Obviously, oh, let's go. We already know what the next feud is gonna be. Uh-oh. He stole the money in the bank. Let's go. See, that exactly what I was saying. Sometimes, it's unpredictable. This is unpredictable. No one could have predicted the cash in, Sammy pushing him into the post, and then running away with the money in the bank. That's why WWE is gaining ground now, because we want to be surprised here and there. And that was awesome. I know the cash in would have been cool, but oh, wow. Well, we already know what the next we already know what the next matchup is going to be. Wow. So after Cody and Priest, right, then we're going to get Sami Zayn and Damian Priest one-on-one. Maybe the next pay-per-view, they're going to have a little build-up and whatnot, I would assume, right? So that would be the main purpose of him, preventing him from cashing in, and then they'll have a feud one-on-one, right? Okay. I love it when the sports gods and the wrestling gods listen to what I say about surprises, and they literally do a surprise right after that. My ESP is strong today. That was cool. I mean, the cash in would have been cool too, but it's not like he would have cashed in. They're not going to have him cash in over Seth. Not right there. Oh, we got the Fatal 5-Way next. So far, so good. I know. He's like, I'm out of here. Yeah, I think so. Well, because you already know how Vince was. Vince likes big men, like the tall guys. So it obviously would benefit a guy like Drew, right? But also, too, doesn't like factions, has his favorites, very political, on who he likes. So obviously not having Vince involved and have a Triple H involved, with some of the other people, in the dynamic, I think is going to be much better for WWE's future. So Matt in the building, what's good? Larry in the building, what's good? It already started. We already had the first match, which was a 10 out of 10. Like, not even over exaggerating. This would be a match that I would go back and watch again. That's how good it was. Normally, I never would say that, unless it was like a 9.5, or a 10, but that one was worth watching again. Very, very good. No, I'm not going to do Cal and Oregon. I'm going to be doing Washington and USC because it's a better matchup. You got number 5 versus number 20. Caleb Williams, Heisman candidate. Michael Penix Jr., Heisman candidate. We're going to get Washington and Oregon again, probably in the Pac-12 championship. And Oregon's playing Cal. Normally I'm going to do an Oregon game every week, but I'm not going to do Oregon Cal when I know we're going to win by 20 points or more, and the game will be over in the first quarter. And so it's like, if the donos were better, if I do Oregon games, maybe I would do Oregon, but I'm not going to sit there and do Oregon for 3 or 4 hours for free. I'm not going to do it and just sit there at a fucking zero. I need to make sure that I'm getting support, for the games I'm doing, and I got a better chance to be more entertained and to be able to get a better number by doing that matchup. But again, I'm not going to skip too many Oregon games, but Oregon Cal, the game is going to be over, and I'll still watch it, obviously just not on stream. And then I'll do it while I'm making my thumbnail for the Huskies and the Trojans. So I got to go with the best matchup. Yeah, I'll be watching the Oregon game, just not on stream. That game starts. So after this pay-per-view is over, I'm going to go take Paisley for another walk for like 45 minutes. Hopefully it's not raining. And I'll make the thumbnail, watch the Duck game in entirety. And then right when the Duck game is about to be over, or close to being over in the fourth quarter, that's when the Huskies and the Trojans are going to be on at 4:30. And then we'll do that stream because I got to be able to evaluate that talent, you know. And I know Bo Nix isn't a Heisman candidate and he's playing great. But again, you know, in a matchup where we're going to win by 20 to 30 points, you know, unless you're someone like you, Matt, or me, we'll love it. But as far as others, you know, some people are not going to give a shit about that game unless they're Duck fans. So, and obviously getting the Duck fan base up higher would be nice. But again, you're not going to get it in that, you know, potential matchup. So there's 0% chance the Ducks are losing that game. 0. You know what's really crazy? Urban Meyer and Matt Leiner and some of these other guys on the Fox kickoff. Urban thought that he said Oregon and Texas he felt looked like, you know, the eye test. He said those two teams look like the best. You know, like obviously Texas beat Alabama, and we're gonna have to be able to see how, you know, things kind of play out and whatnot. But I was pretty surprised to hear like Urban Meyer and some of these people like actually giving the Ducks love. Like, but again, the Pac-12 is arguably the strongest that it's ever been, and we got a lot of NFL talent at quarterback as well as other positions. So it was kind of cool to have them say, you know what, Oregon looks like they might be one of the best teams in the country, even over the Michigan and the Ohio States and the Florida States and the Georgias. And I was like, wow, that I've never heard like national media guys that normally are against the Pac-12 every year actually being like, you know what, UW and Oregon, they look really good. Like, it's cool to be able to hear that. And a lot of them actually think Oregon's better than UW. I mean, we barely lost. If we would have had good coaching, we would have won that game. And if you look at our games week in and week out, we've been playing better than Washington, you know, but they just beat us, you know, because we decided to go for it on fourth down and not, you know, kick field goals after we got that one pick on Michael Penix Jr. And then going into the third quarter, right? Going into the third quarter, we could have ended up winning by 3 instead of losing by 3. But it is what it is, and it will give a good payback if we can get to the Pac-12 championship, which we should. And if we can win that, that'll put us in the playoff. And then you never know what could happen. But you know, again, you know, even though the Pac-12 is normally low, you know, it's just nice to be able to see some, you know, pub. But we will see who the best teams are, if it's going to be Big Ten, because some teams are going to cancel each other out, like Michigan, Ohio State. We'll see what Florida State will do with Texas. So if you're looking at the top 8 or 9 teams, most of them are going to cancel each other out as we get further along. So me and Preston are going to the AEW Dynamite show on Wednesday. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say definitely beating Washington, because again, our defense and our offense is both in the top 10, and Washington is good enough. We'll see tonight, you know, if they go on the road to USC and beat the brakes off of them. Michael Penix Jr. looks like he could be one of the best quarterback prospects. And even though Bo looks good in college, you know, Caleb and Michael Penix Jr. and a few of these other guys might be better. Bo is going to have to go to the right team like the Buccaneers, where they already have offensive line, defense, and receivers like Godwin and Evans. And then if Bo Nix got a chance to back up Baker, and then Baker got hurt, and then Bo got a chance, I think that would probably be the best place that he could succeed. But if Bo goes to like the Browns, you're not going to succeed there. You know, there's going to be certain places where Bo or Michael Penix Jr. or Caleb would be terrible. You know, it's not going to be good. You're going to have help, you know, so we'll see how it goes, but I wouldn't say definitely beating Washington. There is a possibility that the Huskies play the Ducks, you know, in the Pac-12 championship in Vegas. No home field advantage in Eugene or in Washington and Seattle. So if it's on neutral turf, anything could happen. So, but I'm hoping that Oregon gets payback. We can get into the playoff at the number 4 team and then to see where it goes. You know, it'd be really cool if Oregon could, you know, get to the Natty, but I'm not going to talk like that. You know, I just hope we get at least one Pac-12 team that plays well, whether it's us or the Huskies. You know, I don't care. You know, I'm not a hater towards the Huskies, the Beavers, or the Cougs. If you're in the Pacific Northwest And if you are in Oregon or Washington, I'm going to root for you. If you're in California, that's separate. If you're a California fan, or USC and all that, over there, that's separate from us. They say West Coast is the best coast, but California is separate. It's like I got the Dodgers for my dad and whatnot, but for everything else, like in college football and overall, it's like, it's either you're Oregon and Washington, and it's, California is part of the West Coast. West Coast is the best coast, but for us in the Pacific Northwest, it's Oregon and Washington specifically. We got different type of attitude than California people. Not that saying California people have a bad attitude, but the swagger that we have, we've gone through more heartache, so we know how to act properly, and we're going to be as passionate as we are, as like a 15-1 team, or if we're 1-15, like we're still going to bring the heat and bring that energy. Ripley, baby. Oh, Oregon's defense is ridiculous, bro. We were supposed to be bottom 4 in the Pac-12, and we're actually top 4 in the Pac-12 with the Huskies and the Beavers. So that's the big difference. Having a couple transfers from, Alabama, and obviously, we don't really have big name guys like Kayvon Thibodeau or McKinley on the back end, but we're playing like we have NFL players everywhere. There is no Christian Gonzalez at corner for New England. There is no Kayvon Thibodeau on the Giants on the D line, helping us out. No McKinley on the back end. So that's what really makes it so special, that, the defense is playing just as good as the offense. And we ended up having our RB2 for the year get hurt, but then James, our RB3, stepped up. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see where everything goes. But I would definitely be, I should be rooting for USC to beat Washington, but I can't. Michael Penix Jr. is like my favorite quarterback in college football, even over Bo Nix, and I'm a Duck fan. So I'll be rooting for the Huskies to get the upset, and then that way they can stay pure and undefeated, and then hopefully Oregon is the one to knock them off. So we'll see how it goes. Scott Pilgrim, yeah, for real. Esther in the building, what's good? Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, because Washington is very well balanced like Oregon. It's the best Oregon and Washington have been in a long time, and the Beavers are pretty good too. So, I we'll see what happens tonight, but don't be surprised if the Huskies win. I'm not going to say that they're going to win big, even though they're on the road, but I mean, if USC is going to give up like 49 points and they win 50-49 against like an Arizona State team that's dog shit, then I can't see them beating Washington and Michael Penix Jr. unless the defense has the game of their life and USC picks them off like 3 times, gets a pick 6, fumble for a touchdown, maybe a punt return, kick return for a touchdown, and then Caleb's going to have to throw for like 5 tutties for them to win, and I don't see that happening. I feel that there's a bigger chance of Caleb Williams getting exposed tonight. And I still think he can throw for like 3 touchdowns, but maybe he's got 3 touchdowns and 2 picks, something like that, or 4 touchdowns and 2 picks, something like that. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but I would assume the Huskies will end up getting the dub. All right, we got the fatal 5-way here with the women's. And does anyone actually think anybody but Ripley is going to win this? It's Ripley all the way. Easy. But we'll see on how, things work out. I definitely am excited about this matchup tonight. And then, and then Oregon's got USC at Autzen. I don't know if I'll have money to go there or if I'll get gifted tickets, but I would like to see Oregon beat the brakes off of Caleb Williams in Eugene. And then hopefully we can stay pure until we play Oregon State. Oh, look at this. I like this. Look at this. See, this is why I thought that the women's match would be better than Cena. And obviously with Solo Sikoa, weird double team and triple team moves, things that maybe we haven't seen before, grapples on the ground and submission at the head, submission at the legs, submission on the arms. Very cool. I like that. I'm always looking for unique things. And when you got 5 ladies or 5 dudes, you have a lot of opportunities for cool spots that you're just not going to be able to do with 2 or 3 people. So I like it. So far, I'm liking what I see. Well, also, too, if you look at Caleb, when he plays against top 25 talent, he's nowhere near when he plays against teams that are dog shit. When he plays against teams that are dog shit, it's like you got 80 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions, but then when you play against top 25 teams, you got like 8 touchdowns and 8 picks. It's not good. and the completion percentage goes down from like 70% against shitty teams, and then against a top 25 team, it goes down to like 50. So if you're not good in completion percentage, chances are you're going to be overrated and not as good on the NFL side. So that's why I feel maybe Drake May, maybe Michael Penix Jr. has a chance to be better than Caleb. Now, Caleb's athleticism will probably allow him to be better than Bo Nix, but again, if Bo Nix goes to the right team, and gets the right opportunity, there's a chance that Bo could be better than Caleb depending on the team that he goes to down the road. I'm not going to say it right away, but overall, if Caleb goes to any team right out of the gates, he should be better than Bo. But if Bo goes to like the Buccaneers and backs up Baker, that could be the one spot where Bo Nix maybe could succeed. With Mike Evans and Godwin there, decent offensive line. We need better running backs, of course, for Bo. But what if they ended up drafting Bucky Irving and Bo Nix to the Buccaneers? As a Duck fan, I wouldn't mind that. I'd be cool with that. Obviously, if I could get Michael Penix Jr. instead, or, maybe like a Shedeur Sanders or someone else, or a Drake May, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I feel like Shedeur Sanders to the Falcons would make sense. Bo Nix to the Bucs makes sense. And then, I would love Michael Penix Jr. though. If I could have my dream, that would be Michael Penix Jr., on the Buccaneers. That would make my heart, feel really good, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. All right, Lenny. I like Rhea's makeup and her look today. I like the ring attire. Dominatrix kind of a jump off going on there with the leather and whatnot. And I like the eye makeup and everything. Like I said, just because you don't look, like a Playboy playmate, like a Mandy Rose, like I said, of course, they're going to have the ladies get objectified by their looks and whatnot. But I want to be able to see someone that's unique, different, a little emo, a little goth, you know what I mean? And there's no one like her, you know what I mean? And I love that what she's doing. And I feel that it's bringing wrestling fans on another level. Because then you might get an emo girl or maybe a girl that really loves rock or a different type of genre, and they're like, oh, I can kind of relate to this chick, And I feel that, besides someone like Charlotte Flair or Bianca Belair, Ripley is really the top dog. You still got others that are up there, and Tiffany Stratton's got that athleticism too. She's up and coming as well. But nobody looks like Ripley. And, that was an athletic move. But I do like Ripley a lot. I like Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair with their high rope, top rope athleticism. But, even though Ripley may not do some of those moves, I wouldn't count her out. Like I said, I feel that she's got a good chance to have a really good legacy in WWE. And I like the fact that she's with Judgment Day as well. Caleb or Shedeur, if they were both on the same team with the same O-line and the same weapons? That's a good question, bro. If I'm the Falcons, I'd probably go Shedeur Sanders because I got Dion as his dad, and he's going to have the plug for all the trainers, the food, the knowledge. I feel with Caleb, the painting the nails, and I feel that he got hyped up a little bit too much these last 2 years. And if you can't play good against top 25 teams and your completion percentage isn't very good, I think Caleb has better, natural gifts, like, maybe is more of a natural talented athlete. But when it comes down to decision-making, I think I probably would trust Shedeur Sanders more and his dad, mentoring him. So I think I would probably go Shedeur Sanders on the Falcons, rather than Caleb. I feel like there's a bigger bust factor with Caleb than any of the other quarterbacks. Like Caleb could be, Heisman, kind of guy. He could be like one of the top guys. But I actually think with like Drake May, Shedeur Sanders, Michael Penix Jr., I feel that those guys have less of a bust factor, than Caleb. Caleb is the one that could be really, really good, like Patrick Mahomes of the NFC, or he could just be above average because his completion percentage won't be good. His decision-making won't be good. I think he'll be able to run with the football and do all that. But again, until you start actually beating top 25 teams and having a completion percentage closer to 70, not 50, and actually having a higher touchdown to interception ratio, I can't see, 80 touchdowns and like 5 picks against shitty teams, and then you go and play a good team, top 25, and you're like 8 touchdowns and 8 picks. That's terrible. The NFL is going to be much harder. So if you can't do it now, what makes me think that you could do it there besides you getting all the pub and the love, you know? But that's my opinion. I think Caleb has the highest, chance. And then also the Heisman winner type thing, like that stress of like, oh, I won the Heisman. But a lot of the quarterbacks can't handle that pressure. So it's like sometimes I'm kind of like hoping that Michael Penix Jr. doesn't get it. But if he does and get the natty, it'll cancel out. But if you only get the Heisman and you don't get the natty, then there's going to be more pressure. But I think Michael Penix Jr. can handle the pressure better. And Caleb, obviously, stat-wise is better than Shedeur Sanders. But, I mean, if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going Shedeur over Caleb, and obviously Caleb would probably go off the board to someone else. So, but if the Arizona Cardinals want Caleb, good for them. If they want to go that particular route, if they get him, good for them. But there'll be quite a few quarterbacks that I think that will potentially be just as good as him or maybe even better, depending on the scenario. Shedeur and Bo Nix need to go to a team that's got all the supporting cast and great coaching, right? Caleb and Drake May and Michael Penix Jr. have the talent to go to most teams and to do something. They have that natural talent. Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., and obviously Caleb Williams. But I honestly think out of all the QBs, Caleb has the highest bust factor. He could end up also being the best, but also have the biggest bust factor as well. So, but if like Shedeur Sanders goes to the Browns, he's going to fail. You know what I mean? If Caleb goes to the Browns, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It all depends on like who the coach is, what supporting cast you have. Obviously if Nick Chubb is back and he's healthy and whatnot, and, but I feel like there's going to be certain teams and certain coaching, certain supporting cast that's going to help, certain guys a little bit more. But I don't like what I've seen out of Caleb this year. He's getting exposed. Nice missile drop kick there by Zoe. I like Zoe's athleticism. Zoe got this crazy athleticism outside the ropes, doing little flips and twists in the air. She's a little bit better than people give her credit for. Yeah, I think Caleb is an overall better prospect than Shedeur Sanders. But again, Shedeur might be able to protect the football better and be a better decision maker. And if you're a better decision maker and you don't turn the football over, then that'll raise Shedeur. But if you're looking at athleticism and everything that they can do, it's fair to say Caleb could be the top guy off the board. But again, after winning the Heisman last year and then kind of looking like dog shit this year, and then all these other teams in the Pac-12 are better, he's kind of getting exposed. Now, if he would have went to the draft last year, then, it is what it is. But now, after a year of really good football, winning the Heisman, Raquel Rodriguez 1, 2, Ripley with a save. But I feel now you're starting to see like Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Shedeur Sanders, and I think a lot of people like those three even more than Caleb now. So, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think Caleb's got, better arm talent than Shedeur, but Shedeur might have those X factors like his dad, decision-making, the diet, putting himself in a position to be more successful than maybe Caleb and his circle. You know what I'm saying? Caleb got the ability to throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game. You know what I mean? But can you do it against a good defense? We're going to find out tonight. Now, if USC blows out Washington, he throws for 5 touchdowns and no picks, then we're going to be like, okay, then his stock is going to go up. But if he plays like shit and then they get smacked by Michael Penix Jr. and the Huskies, then that kind of narrative of maybe he's overrated, maybe he shouldn't go number 1. And maybe you'll get someone like Michael Penix Jr. if they end up winning the championship or he wins the Heisman, maybe Michael Penix Jr. goes number 1 overall. You know what I mean? So we got to have to a little bit wait and see. So Browns, Bears, or Cardinals? Best chance to succeed, could maybe be the Browns, though. They already got a really good defense. You know what I mean? They got Amari Cooper. Nice. They got Nick Chubb if he's healthy, Kareem Hunt. They got some pieces out there. Ripley retains. No surprise there. You know what I mean? Like the Browns have some, but with the Bears, they got a long ways to go. Cardinals got a long ways to go, too. Ripley retain. There we go, Notre Dame for Odin's son. 24-16, baby. I told you Notre Dame was going to come back. There we go. And they're on the road. You got to understand it's going to be a little bit tougher, but a Clemson doesn't have, Ugalele or Trevor Lawrence or anything like that. So no excuses for Notre Dame to be 15th in the country and have one of the best running backs in the country. And then you're going against an unranked 500 Clemson team. You got to get your head out of your ass, Notre Dame. Let's go. So far, so good. What would you guys give that match? I think I would give that match with all the kind of double team and triple team moves. I think I would give that a 7.5, almost an 8. I think that it wasn't great. It wasn't elite like a 10 or a 9 or a 9.5, but there was enough there in the double team and triple team moves for me to be like, okay, that was better than a 5 or a 6 or a 7. That was closer to like a 7.5 to an 8 to me. That one was actually pretty good. And if it didn't have those double team and triple team moves where they were doing like, okay, one person got the legs, another girl's got the arms in like a submission, that puts it up like 0.5 for me. So 7.5 to an 8. I like that. And then Ripley retains. So yeah, she says. So far, so good. So we got a 10 on the first match, an 8 on the second match, and then we potentially only are going to have one bad match with the Cena and the Solo Sikoa. And let's hope that one at least is a 7.5. And then overall, it's going to be every match is on average is going to be an 8 or a better, And we'll probably have a couple 10s in here tonight. We already had one, so right here. All right, what's the next match we think we're going to go to here? What's the next match on the card? Any predictions? So far, so good.
We went to the Kingdom Tower with Dakota and Io. We went to the top floor, where it's just a view of the whole city and everything, which was beautiful. Got to experience the city a little bit. We just went down to Boulevard City. It's amazing here, especially here. So I love coming to Saudi Arabia.
I'm ready to take the crown jewel of the WWE. All Saudi Arabia is going to be behind it.
I'm going to be the strongest, the fastest, the roughest, the toughest, the quickest, the greatest, the best. But I'm also going to walk out as WWE Women's Champion. That'll be it. Great in the world. Saudi Arabia.
Let's go, baby. Yeah, but hopefully that the quarterbacks end up, panning out. We don't want to hype this up as like, the best quarterback draft in the last 30 years, and then we find out that most of these guys bust. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that we're, evaluating properly. And like I said, there's potential for it to be like, 9 quarterbacks, maybe 5 pan out, 2 are elite, and then 3 are above average that are starters. So we might be able to get 5 starters out of this draft, but to think that every single one of them is going to be elite and a franchise quarterback is a little insane. It's not going to happen. Especially like if you go back to the Trevor Lawrence draft, how many do we have that we could say that are actually good? 1. And then we got one guy that, has potential to get better if he goes to a better team in Justin Fields. But we got Zach Wilson, flop. Trey Lance, flop. Mac Jones, flop. So we really only have one really good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who's probably like a top 12 quarterback now, top 10, top 12, right? And then Justin Fields is probably, in the middle, like around maybe 16th. And fantasy purposes, if he's healthy, he could be a top 10 because he can run and he can throw, but he can't really throw with accuracy. He's just kind of throwing blindly. He needs help. He needs a better O-line, better coaching, better defense, better supporting cast. Hell, Justin Fields needs to go to a better team. If you put Justin Fields on the Niners, he would do much, much better. But, we'll see what direction that the Bears go if they decide to go like Caleb and Maserati Marv or if they go a different direction. We will see. Ohio State, they will. There's a good chance when Michigan and Ohio State play, we'll see who the better team is. So, Cena and Solo's next. Heck yeah. Wrestling figures all day, every day.
There's no ancestry connecting. But look how similar you are. Good work, Captain. Keep going. We may not be brothers and sisters, but if Reggie, you would be.
Let's go, baby. Cena, Solo.
When you smell the amazing scent of game flames, time stops. Your heart races. Your eyes close.
Hopefully this one doesn't stink and it's not like a 5. But I mean, Solo will be able to do good, but like, what are we going to get out of Cena? That's the thing. Are we going to get a Cena that's going to do everything in his power to put on a performance as good as an 8? Or is he going to be old ass John Cena and we're going to get like a 5 out of him and an 8 out of Solo? And then overall, it's going to be like a 6 or a 7. You know, we'll have to see on how things go.
Reducing the rate of relapses, active lesions, and slowing disability progression versus Abaggio.
I'm actually looking forward to this one. I love me some Io Sky and Bianca Belair. You know, it's cool to be able to actually see like a women's division be like this fucking good. You know, it's like it started off, you know, with the divas and, you know, you had Alita and, you know, you had Tori and, you know, Stacy Keibler and, you know, going through each of the eras, but you're actually getting, you know, the ladies are getting more athletic. You know, they got more moves in their repertoire. And honestly, sometimes the women's matches are better than the men's matches. Like back in the day, that never would have been the case. You never would have a women's match like headline a big pay-per-view. But now we see it from time to time, and it actually is deserving. It's not like, oh, we're doing it for the women to make sure that all the women fans and the girls are happy. They're doing it because it actually is a better match than some of the men's matches. So we've come a long way for women's wrestling, and I love it. Hopefully AEW, you know, can pick up some of these people, you know, if they decide not to renew, and then the AEW's women division can be, you know, a little bit closer to WWE's, but at this point it's nowhere near, you know, in the same stratosphere. But, you know, if you ended up getting like Sasha Banks and maybe like a Charlotte Flair, and you got a couple of them to go, Bailey, if you got a couple ladies, like 3 of them to join, you know, it could really help AEW in their division for sure. But again, you know, WWE, as far as the women division, is king, or in this case, queen. All right, Solo coming out. Rutgers beating Ohio State. Since the Saints don't draft QBs, you'll take Justin Fields. That would be a good fit. That would be a good fit there. I think Shedeur Sanders, obviously for the Falcons, would be good, but Fields, I don't know if they would be interested, but they already have Carr right now. Would you rather have Justin Fields or Carr at your quarterback? The more you guys go to Taysom Hill and AK-41, the more you guys are going to win. So if you guys go to Taysom Hill heavy the rest of the season, you're going to win the NFC South. But if you guys don't do it, if you guys do it like you've been doing it the last 3 weeks, you're going to win the NFC South. But if you guys pick and choose when you want to use Taysom, there's a chance that the Falcons or Bucks might take it. But AK-41 and Taysom Hill right now are the key pieces on getting that team, you know, to 10 wins and winning the NFC South, in my opinion. Well, the offensive line hasn't been good, you know, and Carr hasn't been good, and they didn't have AK-41 for like the first month, you know, so you can't expect the defense to hold it down, even though they have normally a top 10, top 5 defense. So, and also the coaching and the play calling haven't been good either. So, you know, Dennis Allen, you know, Carmichael, offensive line, you know, not going to Taysom Hill, having AK-41 injured or not injured, but suspended for the first month. There's been a lot of contributors, you know, and key contributing factors on why the Saints didn't come out of the gates like maybe like the Seahawks right now. Maybe a lot of us thought that the Saints would be in the Seahawks position, but they're not that far behind. You know, sometimes you have a slow start, but you just got to be able to pick it up. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Bam, 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 bam. It's funny, too, because of all the people that John Cena sucks and all that. You know what I mean? Like, after he left, people really started to love and appreciate him. It's funny how that works out. Like Kobe, people hated Kobe, rest in peace, Kobe. But then, once he retired and you reflected on his career, you're like, God damn, how good he was, Same thing with Cena. Obviously he was the golden child and he was given the most opportunities from Vince and obviously everyone there. He was the baby face that they wanted to promote the most. But on top of that, you actually had to have good matches. And that was a big part of them hanging on to Cena for as long as they did and doing those good matchups, like even late in their careers with Cena and Rock. They had some pretty epic matches, and even though I've never really been a John Cena guy, I have some of his merch. I got a headband and a towel and a wristband still on the plastic, from a show years ago when he first started out. It's purple, which is kind of cool because he didn't do the purple headband and the purple wristband stuff that long. But like I said, he is a legend. He's never been one of my favorites, but I respect what he did and obviously what he does for the kids and the Make-A-Wish. And he made wrestling better, and I feel that it would have been cool to see him go heel, NWO or whatever, back in like 2010, 2011, when he still was in his prime, about halfway through his career. It would have been really cool to see him be like, fuck the kids and go heel. But what he was doing with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, he couldn't really do the Hollywood Hogan heel turn at that time. So, and he didn't really want to go heel. But my favorite John Cena of all time is Word Life. Nothing. Thugonomics is my fucking favorite, and nothing will even be close to that. The throwback jerseys, Mitchell and Ness, the chains, the shit talking, obviously it shows you superstars as heels are way better than superstars as faces. Prove me wrong. Prove me in any instance that the face is better than the heel version. You can't find one. Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, Hollywood. It's not even close. Dr. Thugonomics, or what we see with John Cena as a face in the last 12 years. Give me the Thugonomics all day, every day. You like Cena a lot? Yeah, maybe I'll have to dig up. Maybe I'll have to dig up the Cena wristband and the headband. And I'll show you, brother. It's dope, too, because I actually have never worn the headband. It's still in the plastic, and I got wristbands, too. And like I said, certain colors were used more than others in his run, and I always like to look for the rare stuff. Like, obviously, purple is more like husky colors, instead of getting something that was maybe like a green apple or whatever. But, he's gone through many, many colors. Pretty much every color in the rainbow Cena has done. But, the true fans know which ones are a little bit more rare than the others, so... But I remember the towel I gave away to a kid, so I don't have the original towel that I had with the headbands and the wristbands, but I still have the wristband, 2 sets, and a headband. So Roman, yeah. But most of the time, Roman, the Shield was considered more heel than face. I'm a big faction guy too, so. Cena's in good shape. It's not like he's flabby and fat. Going into doing commercials and TV and movies, he's definitely kept up on his body and his regimen because he probably thought, hey, I might be going a little bit bald on the back of my head, but I'm still going to show you that I still can entertain. And if they didn't think that he could still entertain with his name, that he wouldn't be doing this anymore. They know they can still make money off John Cena, so... But could you imagine if he would have went heel and went back to Dr. Thugonomics like in 2010 and then did that for the rest of his career? He'd be way more popular. All the Cena haters would be like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, like even people like me that aren't like a big John Cena guy, but if he went back to the chains and the throwbacks, in 2011, and then he did that persona from then till now, oh my God, his popularity would be through the roof. He'd be up there. Much, much more than he is now. And not saying where he is now is bad, but when you got something like the Thugonomics, you're not going to be able to replicate that. But again, it's like, being like Thugonomics in your 20s and now you're in your 40s. Can you pull it off still? Can you still freestyle? Can you still come up with that look and make it, like believable? Or is he going to freestyle it like 40, 45 and sound like shit? Then it wouldn't be worth it, But I assume that he can still do it. It's like riding a bike, It's like if you got skills on the microphone, that shit don't go away, You just get seasoned and you get a little bit better and better. Notre Dame touchdown, Irish. 31-22. Nice. If that went through. 31-16 at this moment. Unless that was a replay for them to get to 16. I thought that might have gotten them to 22 or 23. They're still down. They might lose that game. What else do we got going on? We got Florida down by 3 to Arkansas. Finley, you watching that? You watching the fucking Gators? You're only down by 3. Should be winning that game. Ole Miss and A&M. Tennessee beating the brakes off of UConn. Texas beating Kansas State. No surprise there. Ohio State took the lead 14-9 over Rutgers. They ain't losing to Rutgers. And then we got Cal and Oregon at 2:30 Pacific time, and I'll watch that, take Paisley on a walk, and then we'll be doing Huskies and Trojans. I have to get my thumbnail created for that, so.
John Cena will always be the first to know when it's over. He won't need anybody else to tell him that. I'll tell you this. Cena with Sikoa, they tell him that tonight when he looks for the.
What's going on? Obviously, defense isn't playing well. What about the offense? How's the offense looking in that game? Oh. So I feel this is a match that we're all going to kind of forget. It's not going to really be anything memorable. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Solo or Cena. It's just, compared to the rest of the card. But when this match ends up being over, probably somewhere between a 5 and a 7, kind of like a Bobby Lashley match where it's like, we know Bobby Lashley is a great wrestler. He could be better on the microphone, but we never remember anything that he does. He's in these matches, but at the end of the day, if you go back like 2 weeks later, if you ask someone, hey, do you remember what happened in that Bobby Lashley match? And everyone on planet Earth will be like, what match? That's just how it goes. Sometimes you can be like, a decent wrestler, but you don't really have anything memorable that you do. No hating on Bobby Lashley, still a good wrestler and whatnot, but for him to be successful, they need to have the Hurt Business. He needs to be in a faction because Bobby Lashley by himself is very forgettable. But Bobby Lashley in a faction, that'll be a little bit more memorable, in my opinion. Yeah, lots of free agency movement for the baseball side. STF by Cena. Montez needs to branch out and have a solo run. I totally agree. You can still be part of the tag team and have your homie come down to the ring with you or not. I think it would be kind of cool to have a faction with, both of them and Bianca, all together, and I think that would be kind of cool if they decide to go down that road at one point. But if Montez does singles action, then what about the other guy? What are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with oh boy? Because is he good enough to do solo by himself? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone would be interested in his solo run, but obviously Montez definitely deserves a solo run, and I could see him winning IC belt or a championship belt one day if they want to give him. He's good on the microphone. He's good in the ring. He's got great athleticism, but it's like I feel like they're keeping him in the tag for his tag partner because then they have nothing to do with the other guy if Solo has the solo run, with Montez. Braun Strowman, he's got too many injuries, though. It's like every time Strowman gets momentum, he gets an injury that sets him back. Like, he might be the most injury-prone wrestler in WWE history, dude. Like, got a lot of talent. Could be better on the microphone. Sometimes cuts good promos. Sometimes could be a little better. Has the look. It got the power and the intimidation, but can't stay healthy. Belly to belly. 1, 2, 2. Where they chant one more time for the belly to belly. And shout out to Odin's son and Sarah helping us out with the donos. Yeah, you already knew the match was going to be slow. You got slow wrestlers. Cena's slow, Solo's slow. I mean, what did you expect? You expected it to be fast paced? No, it's, you know. Now, if you ended up having these two and then you had like Kevin Owens or something, you know, or Sami Zayn, then that would have given it a spark, you know. Certain wrestlers are going to give you that speed and that spark, but I mean, you got two slow guys. I mean, what do you expect? It's not going to be fast paced. It's going to be kind of like a filler match. It's going to be boring. It's not going to be good. It's like you did it for the, you know, Saudi Arabian fans, you know, so that way they could see John Cena. So that way they could see a legend before he's done wrestling. Hit him with the FU. Hit him with the FU. Hey. That's Samoan drop. And I'm glad all the lighting and everything ended up working out. Now I have no issues with lighting. I got everything all good to go. Wish it wasn't raining so hard out there, but it is what it is. Yeah, so Solo, you know, could have a solo career. He will be going solo at some point. But he's not as entertaining as Roman or Jay or Jimmy. You know, Solo is all right, you know, but it's like Solo kind of needs like, you know, Paul Heyman in his corner or like a tag partner. You know, it's like he's all right, you know, but I'm not sure if he's not good enough to win a belt by himself. You know what I mean? Like, I guess if you put like an IC belt on Solo, you could do that, or United States, but it's like, nah, you know, I'm not sure if he's got enough for people to be like, are you good on the microphone? Not really. You know, are you really good in the ring? I'd rather have Kevin Owens if we're going body size type. Kevin Owens is a hell of a lot more entertaining than fucking Solo is. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's all right. He's good for his role as like the bodyguard enforcer kind of guy. But, you know, as far as like a solo career for Solo, I don't know. He needs some help to make his career a little bit more relevant. Unless he ended up turning into like a magician on the microphone, which I never see happening. Solo is a poor man's version of Samoa Joe, because at least Samoa Joe can spit on the microphone. He's one of the top 5 that's in wrestling today that can spit on the mic. Samoa is amazing on the microphone. Poor man, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe and Solo together would be fire. You know, if you could end up having both of those guys wrestling together, that would be an interesting tag team. Two. Yeah, but the thing is, even though Solo is young, I mean, he's not going to get better on the microphone. There's certain guys that have the it factor. Like when you see them on TV or podcasts or Twitch or YouTube or, you know, or in the wrestling business, you either got it or you don't. It's not something that all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm going to be like The Rock or Stone Cold, you know, or I'm going to be like Macho Man, or I'm going to be like this type of person. Like you either got it or you don't. You know, that's just how it goes. You either are blessed, you know, on being a leader, and you got the swag and you got the, you know, the smarts to be able to know how to pronunciate and talk, you know, and talk shit well, you know, or you're just going to be another guy. And there's a lot of guys that are out there that are good wrestlers, but not very many are great on the microphone. And that's what separates, you know, the good from the great to the elites and the fucking legends are the ones that are great in the ring, but they also are just as good on the microphone, if not better. Facts. 1, 2. Samoa Joe and fucking and fucking Solo would be fire. That would be like something I actually would be like, I would go out of my way to watch them. I'll be all right. So Samoa Joe will talk the shit. and then Solo will go in there and beat the ass, and then they can go in there and do cool double team moves and just beat the shit out of everybody. Go behind, kind of like a NWO and just, behind the scenes and just beat the shit out of everyone all the time. That would be a good gimmick, actually. STF. STF. And Solo's got this like body size where he's not like as big as like Yokozuna, you know what I mean? But he's not like skinnier and faster like Jimmy or Jay. It's like you're a little bit thicker, you know what I mean? So if you're a thicker guy like that, like a Kevin Owens, you better be amazing on the microphone. Otherwise, people are not going to really gravitate towards you. You know what I mean? Like if you're not the strongest and you're not the fastest and you're not fat, but you're not skinny or ripped either. You're slightly maybe thick, like maybe a little overweight, but that's just your build. You better be really good on the mic. Otherwise, what are we going to remember you by? Like if Samoa Joe was terrible on the mic, would we even give a shit about him? Probably not. His wrestling skills are better than Solo's, but again, what we remember Samoa Joe is his microphone skills are fucking peak. I mean, he can talk shit with the best of them. And he's a really smart dude. You can definitely tell the people that are good on the microphone typically are really smart because they, the dictionary, words, enunciation, pronunciation, they know how to talk shit rather than just the traditional way of talking shit, That's when you can tell when people are really, really good on the microphone too. They got a really good vocabulary. Motherfucker's got like Eminem dictionary skills. You feel me? No, I feel most people probably want Solo to win. The only people that want Cena to win are diehard Cena fans. Like if Cena wins and he's wrestling only a couple times a year, what's the point? For Solo winning, it would mean more for his legacy and career rather than, Cena. Cena has already proved everything that he can. Him winning any matches is irrelevant. He already has, been at the top. At this point, you're just a guy, in a match. You're a filler, And it's not like Cena needs to get Solo over because at this point, Solo is bigger than Cena. Yeah, I don't know about that. That was, 6 or a 7. That'll definitely be a forgettable match. Umaga, yeah. Yeah, not very good. 5, 6, 7. Definitely a filler match, a forgettable match. That'll be the worst match of the night. Everything else will be fire. Yeah, I would say a 5 or a 6. Like for this match to get to a 7, you needed like a Sami Zayn or a Kevin Owens triple threat. Then you knew you would have been able to get some double team moves. It would have been a little bit faster and a little bit more entertaining. That's the problem when you end up going up for a guy that's old and retired against a guy that's kind of slow, that doesn't really have anything going for him on the microphone. It's just kind of meh, no one's going to remember the match. I mean, or if you would have had like Jimmy and Jay come out and back him up and then they beat up Cena on the outside of the ring or something, then maybe it would have been a little bit more memorable. But David Chappelle, no relation to Dave Chappelle. What's good? How are you? Yeah, Rikishi. Rikishi is the Faja. All right. 31-23 Clemson up on Notre Dame. 28-14 Ole Miss on A&M. Texas 27-7 over Kansas State. Ohio State 14-9 over Rutgers. While Rutgers pulled off the fumble-rooski. Go Ducks, baby. Yeah, I don't even know how the hell Ohio State got number one. You could tell, that committee doesn't obviously watch the games. That's on Little Giants. Oh, shit. Cena getting the hand clap from all the rich princes. How much do you think tickets cost for this event? Like, if you're one of the rich princes and stuff, like, how much do you think they jack the prices up knowing that these people got mad money? Like, what are we talking about? Like, front row seats, normally like $1,000 in the U.S. What do you think they charge here? $2,000? Because they know that they can get more money out of these people? I would assume the seats are double than what they are in America. I mean, hell, if they got the money and they know those people are going to pay for it, $2,000 to these guys is fucking nothing. $1,000 to someone in America might be kind of a pretty penny, but if you got money, like the Live Golf tournament, hey, we'll give you $100 million for 1 year. What? $100 million for 1 year? God damn, they're rich. Your boy needs a Dubai plug. You feel me? I need to have some Dubai prince friends. I need to be like Drake. Like, hook me up with the princes, bro. Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, and Washington. Even Florida State seems a little fugazi to me. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're really the real deal. I think if Florida State played Oregon, Washington, Georgia, Michigan, they would get fucking smacked. That's my opinion. But again, I think Florida State has earned, the right to go up into the top five, top four. They have some skills. But I just think that overall, if they played Washington, Oregon, Georgia, Michigan, they would get fucking smacked. But again, I guess we'll wait and see, and we'll see if that's true or not. Because if Florida State ends up making the Natty, that would be the most fucking surprising thing ever. Because I think they're the weakest team out of all the teams in like the top 5, top 6. I don't think they're that good. But ACC competition, what it is what it is. You can only play the people on your schedule, right? So. And I don't think Florida State's dog shit. They're much better than they have been in recent years. You saw them coming along last year. So for them to get to this point, the recruiting has been good and they've played well. But to me, Florida State is more of a top 10 team, not top 5. So I still think they're good, but just not as good as some of the others at the top. I don't want to discredit everything that Florida State has done. I mean, they got some guys, but I'm not sure if I trust them against some of the elites. All right, let me look at the college football scores here. All right, what match is next? Where are we going next? That's a good question. X. I mean, it all depends on, the booking with Triple H, on if they want to be able to give someone an opportunity to shine, or just to, keep the belt where it's at. So that is a very, very good question. I mean, I wouldn't mind, seeing a belt change. Mike Awesome. Tell him, Miz. At some point, Logan Paul's getting the belt, and they're not going to give him the heavyweight belt or the universal belt. He'll have to start off with the tag belt or, something lower, like a United States, you got to get him a lower belt first and then, see where he goes from there and whatnot. So, all right, we got Cal in Oregon starting in about 3 hours. And then that'll give me, after this pay-per-view is over, it'll give me a break for a couple hours so I can spend time with Paisley. And then I'll get a thumbnail prepped, and then we'll be live at 4:30 for number 5 Washington Huskies versus number 20 USC Trojans. Game of the week. Miz TV.
Guys are ready, so let's get this bad boy started. My guest tonight is one of Saudi Arabia's own. He is the star of the highest grossing Saudi Arabian movie in history. Sitar, ladies and gentlemen, please get up out of your seats for Abraham Al-Hajjaj!
Sarah, have they leaked any of the information on Dynamite, like who might be wrestling on Dynamite when I go on Wednesday? And I assume that they're going to be doing Dynamite and not necessarily all of the shows, but is it going to be like Dynamite and Rampage? Or is Rampage and Collision taped together and Dynamite is separate? Maybe Dynamite is just separate, and then Collision and Rampage are together on a separate showing. I'm pretty sure they film those two together, and then Dynamite is by itself. But hopefully I get to see some decent matchups. You know, hopefully I get to see like some of my favorites out there. And I don't even know where we're sitting. I don't know if we have nosebleeds or if we have front row seats. I mean, Preston's got enough money to get us front row if we want to sit there, but I guess it just depends since he's buying both the tickets. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. So Lauren in the building, what's good? But I'm definitely excited to be able to go to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday at Moda. And again, I'll have to buy a $45 overpriced t-shirt, hopefully if I get enough donos between now and Wednesday. And that way I can get myself another, you know, Kenny Omega or Young Bucks or maybe like a Jericho or MJF. I don't know. We'll see what they have available there. I imagine the shirts are going to be so overly priced. I could just buy it cheaper on AEW shop and whatnot. So, but it'll always be cool to be able to buy something from the show. So I remember, hey, that's when I went to this show. So. Habibi, The Miz. Daniel Garcia versus the MJF. Ooh, I get to see MJF. Hell yeah. Heck yeah. That's sweet. Hopefully I get to see Omega, Young Bucks, MJF, Moxley. You know, I want to be able to see everybody. Brian Danielson, but Brian Danielson got some injuries and whatnot, right? So what main stars are injured right now, Sarah, in AEW, to your knowledge? If you've been keeping up in the last like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, what major stars are injured right now that I'm not going to get to see? DJ Khaled, another one. Yeah, maybe Dark before Dynamite, and then they do Collision and Rampage together, I assume. That's what I was thinking too. But yeah, so Brian Danielson is the only one that we know of that I'm not going to be able to see in action. But other than that, well, you know, there'll be an opportunity hopefully to get to see, you know, get that vibe and whatnot. So I'm excited about that.
WWE is the Grayson Waller effect. Hottest show? Looks like Australian. It's like they're getting Cristiano Ronaldo, and you want them to settle for the ball boy. Oh, you think I get soccer references up? I think you're just jealous. You ain't got no plans, so you are jealous of the
Moxley, yeah. Okada and Danielson.
To come to WWE to be at the hottest talk show. The hottest talk show. The hottest talk show in WWE is Miss TV.
Habibi. Another one.
Habibi. Do you want to try that again? I think you got the wrong answer. Try again. Habibi.
Darby actually was at the Blazer game last night, giving away tickets to AEW to select fans. My buddy Justin was at the Blazer game last night. We were down by 10 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Shaden Sharp went crazy. Jeremy Grant, we actually had one in overtime, but he actually sent me photos of Darby pretty close to him, giving away tickets and whatnot. So, yeah, Darby's from Seattle. That Seattle area, yep. So I wonder if they're going to Seattle next, or if they're went to Seattle first and then they're going to, Portland and then going to California. I wonder if they're going up towards Canada, like if they did I can't remember where the last few shows have been, but normally when they're in Oregon, they're either going up or down. They're either going Oregon, Seattle, Canada, or they're going Canada, Seattle, Oregon, California. So, oh, how dare you kick that, Habibi? Grayson. Oh, big kick by The Miz. Now we're just doing filler content while we're waiting for the last few matches. All right, so we got 4 matches left. We got Roman and LA Knight at the very, very end for the Undisputed Universal Championship match, right? Then we got Mysterio and Logan Paul for the United States Championship. I wouldn't mind Logan Paul winning, actually. Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. I would assume Cody Rhodes. And then Io Sky and Bianca Belair. I mean, you could go either way on that. I mean, it's kind of cool to see Io with the belt and whatnot. Bianca already had it for a while. So we'll see if Io retains or if Bianca gets the belt. So we'll see on how things go, if people retain or if they drop the belt. But Io Sky, Bianca Belair should be, a 9 or higher. Mysterio and Logan Paul, I would assume, will be an 8 or higher. Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest should be an 8 or higher. And then Roman and LA Knight should be a 9 or higher. So potential 2 matches that could be 10s, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Roman and LA Knight. And then we got 2 matches that, could be potential 9.5s if things go well. And maybe that Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio match could be as high as a 9.5. And then Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest, probably the highest that one would be as a 9, but at the lowest it would probably be an 8. So we'll see where it goes. But everything left has a potential to be 8 to 10. So that's a good sign. Oh, Vikings ain't bringing him back. They weren't going to bring him back even if he played the rest of the year. He ain't coming back. They can say that, nationally or globally or for smoke, but he ain't coming back. He ain't definitely 100% not coming back. And on top of it, he's injured now. You're not bringing him back. You're going to move on. Like I said, his contract is up there. Why would you end up giving a guy more money after he ended up having a serious injury, after you already were willing to give him up and move on? Not happening. So they can say it, but I don't believe it. That's all smoke. He ain't going to be there next year. They'll find someone else to replace him. I'd be very shocked if he's there. But also it kind of fucks up the Niners' plans if they didn't really believe Brock Purdy, was the guy. He's been struggling the last couple games. I know that Kyle Shanahan really wanted to bring, him in, and that would have been the number 1 spot for Kirk Cousins, the Niners, with Brock Purdy. But now, with Cousins with this injury, the Niners are not going to be interested. They're not going to want him now. So it's unfortunate that an injury can do that. Plus, I mean, if you're Jay Jetta, you want someone better. I mean, Kirk Cousins is like a top 12 quarterback, but I mean, doesn't Jay Jetta and that team deserve someone better? There's got to be someone that's going to be a better fit, or even get a rookie. What if the Vikings ended up getting Michael Penix Jr.? That would be much better. Michael Penix Jr. to the Vikings, Shedeur Sanders to the Vikings, Drake May to the Vikings, Caleb to the Vikings. That kind of sounds sexy. That sounds better than Kirk. I think we've already seen it, what we're going to get from Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Like, that they need to focus on offensive line, defense, a better running back than Madison. There's a lot more problems that they have than worrying about bringing back an injured Cousins, in my opinion. So we'll see. Maybe he'll come back, but I think that would be a huge mistake for Minnesota. I mean, we've already had him there for plenty of years. He's not going to get any better. You're never going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins on the Vikings, period. Never. So if that's the case, you might as well move on. And this would be a perfect time to move on. Unfortunately, it was, an injury that cost him, maybe his future. But I feel like they're saying that just to make him feel okay. Like, we still like you kind of thing. You're going through rehab. We still like you, but in reality, they've already moved on mentally. Waller and Miz. All right, is this what we're getting next? This will be good. High flying action. This will be way better than Solo and Cena. It's like, even if you're not a big fan of either one of these guys, I mean, they're fast paced. They're going to do high flying moves. And that's what you want. You don't want two slow ass, boring wrestlers. You want it to be fast paced, up tempo wrestling, lucha libre style. Big facts.
And tell your doctor if you've had it, as it could come back. He said it can cause serious side effects, including infections. While no cases of PML were reported in RMS clinical trials, it could happen. Tell your doctor if you have or plan to have vaccines, or if you are or plan to become pregnant. Key symptom may cause a decrease in some types of antibodies. The most common side effects are upper respiratory tract.
Yeah, it definitely throws a monkey wrench in everything, though, with Kirk being injured. You know what I mean? Like, if he was healthy, I think there would be a really good possibility that they would have Purdy and him and they would battle it out. And then whoever Shanahan thought that would help them win the most, if that's Kirk and he didn't get hurt this year, that might be able to get them over the top. Purdy could maybe get you to the Super Bowl, but it'll be the same thing with Kaepernick and Jimmy G. You're going to get there, but you're going to lose. You know what I mean? But if you can actually have someone that's a top 10 quarterback, that most people feel, even though Cousins is fringe top 10, like 10, 11, 12, that maybe he would be good enough to get them over the top against a really, really good, AFC team with Mahomes or Josh Allen or whoever it may be, Burrow, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see, but it definitely throws a monkey wrench into the plans I think they had once Kirk got injured. So unfortunately. Where are we going next? Are we going here? Are we going here? It's got to be one of these two matches. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink here real quick.
Social media megastar Logan Paul. This is what he was doing earlier today.
All right, I think it answered my question. This is where we're going next. And I don't care for him on social media, but I really like him as a wrestler. Good shit talker, right? Good on the microphone, right? Actually very athletic. And, if you want to be a hater, towards him and his brother and it proves to you that a lot of people on social media, they're more than just social media people. Sometimes you'll get someone that's just a true athlete, that they can do it, on the microphone, but also too, they got skills, whether it be in the ring, UFC, boxing, WWE, and he's done very, very well, and at some point, maybe even tonight, maybe he'll be rewarded with his first belt. I mean, it's going to bring more eyes, obviously, to see, either rooting for Logan or you're rooting against him. Kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. You're either rooting for him or you're rooting against him, but you're going to be paying attention. You're going to be watching. So, but like him as a person, don't really like him. Him on social media, don't really like him. But him in WWE as a personality on the microphone and his skills, in the ring, I like that part of him. So, yeah, I mean, I think this would be a good time for him to get the belt. You're going against Ray. Ray doesn't really have anything to prove at this point having the belt, but this would be a good opportunity for him to get the belt, either now or in the very, very near future. But they're not going to give him Universal or World Heavyweight Championship. They're either going to give him United States or like a tag, that they're going to have to start off with something small, and then he can work his way up. And then maybe one day we'll see Logan Paul as an Intercontinental Champion. I could see that happening too. So maybe tonight's the night. I mean, he's already been, this is what, his 8th match? You know, he's been in like 4 or 5 pay-per-view matches. I don't think I've seen a bad match that he's been in. So whether you love him or you hate him, I love him in WWE. I really do. He's really athletic. You know, he wrestles kind of like a lucha libre, you know? It's like the great white hype, you know. He wrestles like a lucha libre, like a Mexican wrestler. And that's what I like and appreciate about him. High risk, fast, athletic. He can do stuff off the top rope. He's not afraid to get hurt. He'll put his body on the line like his brother, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, like I said, I'm never going to fucking subscribe to his channel or buy any of his fucking merch or get any Prime from fucking him and KSI. You know what I mean? But in the ring in WWE, that's the one part of Logan Paul that I actually really love, you know. And like I said, certain people are blessed with microphone skills, and that's a reason why they bring in some of these guys like Logan Paul and Pat McAfee, because they're trying to bring in that fan base that they already have. This is going to be a good match. The lowest this is going to be an 8. But I don't know if they're going to give him the belt here, but if I was WWE, I would give him the belt here. You know, of course, you would love to be able to give it to him in America, you know what I mean? But I think that this would be a good time for him. I mean, they're not going to give him a belt right away. They want him to pay his dues, get a little bit better, you know, show that you can wrestle different ways, you know, and I think that this would be a good opportunity to win the belt here tonight. Whether they give it to him is up to Triple H, because I already know they're going to give it to him, but it just depends if they're going to give it to it now or you're going to have to make him wait a couple more months. Gators took the lead. Nice. Yeah, this has a potential to be a 10 match. I wouldn't say that if I didn't really believe it. I mean, I've been watching matches since the 80s, since like 85. So, you know, Ray, even though he's old, still fast, still entertaining. Like Ray is a guy that could be 40, 50 years old and still entertain, you know? Like how many Lucha Libre guys have a legacy like Rey Mysterio? You could argue that he's the most famous Lucha Libre of all time. Wrestled in WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, Japan. Guy that in fucking Mexico. The guy's literally wrestled in every promotion and is still relevant to this day. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone saying, "Oh, I hate Rey Mysterio." That's like saying, "Oh, I hate Eddie Guerrero." What? Like, you know, you just don't hear people saying that stuff. Like Eddie will always be, you know, up in my top. And it would have been really cool to see Eddie still, you know, alive today. But at least we get a little piece of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio with that legacy. Let's go, baby. So you just have to know matchups. And I feel with Vince, his problem is like he always had a small, fast, athletic wrestler with a tall, like, you know, unathletic wrestler. Like Omos, you know, going against like Seth Rollins. No one wants to see that. You know, you have to know what's going to, you know, make a good match. You know, guys that are going to be similar in style, guys that are going to be, you know, fast paced. You just can't have one really good athletic guy and a slow guy and then think that it's going to work out. You know, so I feel like Vince lost touch. You know, he just wanted to make, you know, WWE in his vision. He didn't give a shit about the fans or the kids or the wrestlers. He wanted to do it based on his preferences, and that was hurting the company. And Triple H is actually doing it, I think, more, you know, for the fans, you know, to be able to, you know, put up better matchups to be able to entertain fans globally. And that's what we needed. Big facts. All right, here we go. Let's go, baby. Crown Jewel, Ray, Logan. Let's get a belt change tonight. I mean, like I said, Ray has nothing left to prove in his career like John Cena, right? So this would be an awesome opportunity. Or if they have to do like a rematch, like Ray retains, but then Logan fights him again and then wins in America or something, or whatever rivalry that Logan goes to next after Ray, you know, but it's coming soon. You can feel it. Like it's either tonight or very soon that they're going to give him probably the belt. I highly doubt they're going to make him wait a whole nother year for a fucking United States championship. I mean, but you never know. I guess it just depends on how well liked he is, how much respect he's shown to Triple H and the rest of the guys in the back, and, you know, if he's an asshole or if he's actually like, you know, someone that people enjoy working with. So, you know, his attitude outside of the ring might, you know, determine when he actually gets a belt in the ring. Because if he's like a fucking asshole and a dickhead like he has been on social media, maybe they don't give him the belt for a while. You know, maybe if he's just a guy they were trying to make money off of and they're trying to get ratings off of, maybe they just keep doing that, but they don't give him the belt for a year or two. That could also be something that happens too. So.
All this with a kid. Ray rolls through. Logan Paul now getting a taste of what he's in the ring against. Yeah, but he's also got that long, rangy physique that's going to help him out when it comes to strikes like that kick we just saw in the midsection of Rey Mysterio. Elbow on the nose and then a boot. Now the United States champion from the second row.
Nice. And you got to think, though, I mean, imagine if Logan Paul couldn't talk on the microphone, right? And then he was very stiff in the ring. It'd be like Ronda Rousey, right? And it's not like that. You know, it's like Ronda, you know, obviously was a UFC star, but can't talk, can't wrestle, injures people. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you think that you're going to be able to bring someone in and it's going to work out, but Logan is well more suited for success than Ronda. You know, it's not like he's like Ronda Rousey out there. So he may not be my favorite, but he ain't dog shit either. You know, he entertains at the very least, even if you don't like him. You can root for him to lose on that end, I guess, right? And he's going to be there more often than like Bad Bunny or Pat McAfee, like as far as like wrestling. So it's not like they're going to give Bad Bunny the belt or McAfee the belt. So who's the guy that they bring in that actually has a chance to get the belt to prove themselves? Logan Paul. Nice. Yeah, and a big reason why they brought him in as well too is that he's way more athletic than people want to give him credit for, and that was even shown in his first match. You know. Let's go. 1, 2. I mean, it's not like he's just doing punches and kicks and fucking leg drops and he's like Hollywood Hogan, you know. He's actually doing high risk and like cool moves. Kind of like an ECW type of wrestler. $52, 48 to go.
Skills of Logan Paul, body shots to Mysterio in the corner. Mysterio just didn't have a block for that. He's not used to those kind of strikes in the corner. Again, Logan Paul now. Right to the left, Mysterio. Sends Ray into the corner now. Ray just collapses. Yeah, that was less about that buckle that Ray took. I'm sure that was paid for. Those body shots, those tackles. Midsection of Ray prior to that, and that is just not the stuffing out of Ray Mysterio here from Repair.
The only time I will watch Logan Paul is here on WWE. That's it. Anything else, unless it just pops up on my feed and I keep scrolling.
This case right now definitely favors Logan Paul. He's done the exact right thing. After the stuffing, Ray at least slowed this one down. Waistlock takedown with authority. Continues to control.
I mean, this match is better than the Cena match in solo.
And he just stomped in on the toe of Logan Paul. Yeah, with a boxing background, you don't have to worry about that kind of abuse.
Let's go, Ray. Oh. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. I like it. 2. Cena doesn't do anything for anyone anymore. It's just too old. You know, I mean, I don't give a shit who he's wrestling with. Like, you know, it's just not going to be, he's not worth having on TV anymore. You know, unless he wanted to be like a manager. You know, if you wanted to have him be like a manager, you know, maybe, but in the ring, there's nothing pleasing about watching him in the ring. Nothing, you know. I mean, all of it is just for nostalgia purposes for these fans, you know. One. Only one on the frog splash. LA Knight, 0% LA Knight wins. 0. %. They're, you know, they already know he's one of the most over, like Seth Rollins, but they're not going to give him the belt over Roman. Not a chance in hell. Because if you drop the belt to LA Knight, what does that mean for Roman's reign? You know, for all these years, like that's the guy that you're gonna drop it to him. Like I get it, you're 40 years old and you're like DDP and you're stealing Stone Cold and Rock's catchphrases and you're trying to be like them, but you're not. But you're really, really popular with the young kids, you know, now, right? But you ain't never gonna be The Rock. You ain't never gonna be Stone Cold. But what you are doing right now is working for you, and we like what we see out of him. You know what I mean? But he ain't worthy of you know, getting it from Roman. If Roman's going to drop it, it has to be someone better than LA Knight. Otherwise, then the whole reign of Roman was stupid. Like you had him hang on the belt for all these years to drop it to what, a popular guy that just got over within the last year, you know? And the only reason they like him is because they like saying LA Knight. Yeah. You know, it's like, that's all the reason, you know, like if he wasn't able to do anything on the microphone, no one would give a shit about him. You know, and it shows you the power of a catchy catchphrase, you know, and being able to talk on the mic will give you more popularity than maybe what your skills are in the ring, you know, because him on the microphone is like a 10, but in the ring, what is LA Knight? Like an 8, 7? I mean, he's not really that good in the ring. You know what I mean? Like he's okay in the ring, but it's not like, oh my God, I have to watch every LA Knight match. Like LA Knight is like overhyped by a bunch of sheep, you know, that are just like, you know, they're just going with like the bandwagon theme. Like, oh, he's the coolest thing on planet Earth. You know what I mean? And of course, a lot of these people that think he's like the coolest thing, they obviously didn't watch Rock and Stone Cold and they're hella young, you know, so they think that this is like some new thing that no one has ever done before. Come to find out that he's just ripping off Stone Cold and The Rock. You know, and he'll never be like that. But for the younger fans, they don't know that. So they're like, oh, this is brand new. This is cool. You know, I want to be a part of this bandwagon. You know, he's immensely overhyped, you know. At least like Seth Rollins is over and he can actually talk on the mic and he can wrestle. I'm not saying that LA Knight is a terrible wrestler, but he ain't on the fucking Seth Rollins level. So. Yeah, well, they don't have very many people that can actually be a face right now. Like who can they actually have be a face? LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, that's it. Like who else? But he's helping them get ratings and he's selling a lot of merch. So they're running with it. And that's why he has this opportunity today. Because if he wasn't number one in sales merch in the last like 4 or 5 months, you know, with all his t-shirts and his catchphrases and whatnot, talking on the mic, you know, but it shows you sometimes if you're really good on the mic and you have a catchphrase, you know, sometimes that'll get you over. What you do on the microphone is more than what you do on the ring. It's a little bit of a combination of both, but especially, you know, microphone skills are very, very huge. Yeah, but the thing is if you give it to like Jimmy or Jay after all that, I mean, does anyone give a shit? No. It has to go to someone bigger like a Cody Rhodes, like someone that is a big part of WWE like Seth Rollins. Like it has to be a big name that you're going to drop it to. It just can't be like, oh, Rock at WrestleMania and he wrestles once a year. Him getting the belt would be pointless. It has to go to someone that will bring the legacy and pride to WWE after Roman. So if Roman does TV or movies and he's not around, that they can at least have the belt on someone for a few months if they decide to have that person drop it at one point or another. So Jimmy and Jay having a belt, I don't think people would give a shit. They're like, oh, cool, he got the belt. But does anyone really root for Jimmy and Jay the same way they root for Roman? No. It would be just like short-lived. Like, yay, he won the belt. Then what? Who do they feud with? Like, what goes on from there? But if you give it to someone like Cody, you can keep shit going, storyline-wise and athleticism-wise and microphone-wise, even though Cody Rhodes has a lisp, but he's fought through that. And, that would be like probably one of the only people that I would see getting it for Roman. Like, really, there's only two people, in my opinion, that should get it from him: Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes. That's it. No one else is even in the same stratosphere to be able to get it. Or maybe like a Drew McIntyre. I wouldn't mind seeing Drew get the belt from Roman Reigns because, a big guy and a big guy if I was going to go that route. But I think Seth and Cody would be better. Cody specifically, but yeah. Well, a lot of us have been watching since the 80s. Like I've been watching since 1985. So, a lot of the people in the room have been watching since the 80s or 90s. So. And then some of us have been watching like all the federations. We don't just watch WWE, WWE, AEW, fucking ECW, WCW, fucking ROH, Impact, NJPW. Like, there's different levels to this. That was nice. 1, 2. Logan's got a better clothesline than Hangman Page. They both do it pretty good. They both do the clothesline pretty good. Wow, Logan saved Ray from hitting his head there. Nice job by Logan preventing an injury to Ray. He was about a foot away from getting his neck snapped. That was nice. I don't know. I just appreciate talent, regardless if they're loved or they're hated, what I mean? In other places, like I like to be able to see the microphone skills and I want to see the talent. Let me see what you bring to the table, But I mean, you could have 1 minute of this match be better than, 10 minutes of what we saw out of fucking Solo and Cena, which was like a Bobby Lashley match. You never remember anything that happens in a Bobby Lashley match. And it's literally something that you could skip. Wow. 1, 2. Tell me what wrestler is going to do something like that. You know what I mean? Whether you love Logan or you hate him. I mean, he does moves that other wrestlers can't do, and for a guy that's on social media, that's pretty fucking impressive. It's not like he's been in the fucking dungeon with Bret Hart and he's been training his whole life. And then it just so happened that he did social media first. Look at this move. You do this wrong, you land on your neck. You could end up hurting your vertebrae right there. That's some fucking athleticism. I mean, he only can do that with someone light like Ray, so it makes sense. If you have someone heavier like Seth, he probably wouldn't be able to do that move. But props to him, on the matchup and, body size a little bit, not weighing as much. So that way you can, kind of show out on some of those moves. That was sweet. Uh-oh. He ended up doing a little mocking little Eddie. And Logan isn't the best seller on moves yet because he's only been in like 8 or 9 matches, but he's a little bit better than people give him credit for. Some guys really know how to sell, like Dolph Ziggler, and the most underappreciated superstar probably of all time with Dolph. Hopefully he goes to like AEW or something and, he can have a revival in his career, but they did him dirty. That guy might have been the best at selling moves in WWE history. He was very good. Yeah, see, I've been watching since like the birth, like Hogan and Flair and Andre the Giant and Legion of Doom, Demolition, and Bushwhackers, and Ultimate Warrior, and nice, good sell. Nice. 1, 2. That was hard for Ray because Logan's long ass legs. I don't know. Like I said, I like guys that are underappreciated too, like The Miz, Dolph Ziggler. You know, people that don't ever get the love or pub, but real ones that watch wrestling know. You know, is Dolph ever going to be the most popular or The Miz? No, but if you actually look at their career as a whole, you can really appreciate some of those things that these guys have done that the average wrestling fan does not see or will never see. Oh, there goes the knucks. He said, my knucks, my brass knuckies. He said, go get the knuckies. Go get the brass knuckies. Oh, Escobar. He said, no, no, no. No, no, no. He said, I'm LWO for life, SA. And then he drops it in the ring. Why would you drop it in the ring like that? Why would you drop the brass knucks in the ring? Is Logan going to get the belt right here? Logan getting the belt. Logan about to get the belt. It's over. 1, 2. There it is. The heel, you know. Well, I mean, that's how he wins. You know, he's gonna win. He's gonna, you know, when you're a hated person and you're a heel as it is, it don't matter if you win clean or if you win cheating. You know what I mean? Like that. If you're gonna be hated like that, you know, sometimes you gotta be like that. It's like the way that The Miz was and whatnot. But I had a feeling that he was gonna get the belt right there, and he did. You know, you got to be able to reward a guy for all his hard work and what he's done. You know, up to this point, he's been spectacular from the very first match to this match. He hasn't had a bad match in WWE. And whether you love him or hate him on socials or Prime or KSI or all that other bullshit, good for him. I'm actually happy for him. On you know what I mean? Like if you're going to be a heel, you know, you're going to win cheating. That's just how it goes. It's just like NWO, the Shield, and you know, sometimes you're going to win clean. But if you're already going to be a natural born heel, like with Dom, when Dom gets a belt, you know, he can cheat and people are booing him, you know, like honestly, him and Dom should be linked together, you know, like if you had Logan Paul and Judgment Day and you had Dom with him and they were like a tag team, that would be entertaining because then they both cheat. They're both hated. They both get booed. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to run with it. And honestly, if you're going to get hated so much like Dom, where they don't even let you talk, that is something that's never happened in WWE or wrestling before, where they get booed so much that they can't even say a word on the mic. So I like it, man. I like it. I think it actually is better that he didn't get it clean. Because what Logan Paul is obviously known as a guy that's hated, right? So why have him win clean against Rey? He's not Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is going to win clean. It's like if Rey Mysterio won the belt with the Knucks. You'd be like, what's going on? That's not Rey, right? But with Logan, like you're already hated as it is. It doesn't matter if he wins clean or dirty. A win is a win. And also it's better to win dirty because that solidifies your heel. You're not winning clean and you're a good wrestler. You do whatever it takes to win. So I don't know. I like it, man. Calvin don't like it, but I like it. I don't want a clean 1, 2, 3. You know, and like I said, if you already have a reputation of winning dirty, you know, like that, I mean, that's what's going to put you over more as a heel because they know you cheated. It's just, you know, it's all the psychology in wrestling, you know. Think about how many wins, you know, Logan has had that have been clean. Not many. So they're gonna roll with that. It's good sports psychology, man. Good wrestling psychology. I like it. I like it. Calvin don't like it, but I love it. I'm glad he got the belt. Good for him. That'll, let's be honest. WWE and the NFL, what's it about? Is it about you? Is it about me? They don't give a fuck about us. It's about money, okay? It's about fans. It's about subs. It's about likes. It's about merch sales, getting more people that follow him on socials to come over because now he's champ. It's a money ploy, just like with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, trying to get a bunch of fucking Swifties that don't give a shit about football or give a shit about the Chiefs, but now they have Travis Kelce jerseys, and they act like they know football and they care, It's money, money, money. That's all what it's about, and bringing people over that are popular somewhere else that built their own platform and trying to take advantage of that hard work and get those people to follow them in WWE or wherever it may be. So. Yeah, Logan in the ring is better, but Dom's got, Rey Mysterio as his dad. So obviously Dom is one of those people though that will be a superstar. You can tell, like, he's slowly but surely, he's kind of bigger, a little thicker, a little chunkier. He's not going to be the same type of wrestler. He's going to be a little bit slower. What's going to work for him is, the faction. Him talking shit or trying to talk shit. Him, doing dirty Dom things, cheating, whatever it takes to win. But you're going to see his skills get better and better and better as the years go on. And don't be surprised if Dom ends up being world champion one day, heavyweight champ, universal champ, IC champ. It's going to happen. He's got a long career ahead of him, and to see where Dom was initially to where he is now, he's grown a lot. And then plus the fact of Rey being your dad, they're going to take advantage of the Mysterio name on top of that too. So don't be surprised in the next 5 to 10 years when you see Dirty Dom better than you think that he'll be at that point. It's all about trajectory in wrestling. But both people will end up, having belts. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me either if Logan ends up, having an IC belt one day. Now, if they want to, I'm not sure if they're going to give him the heavyweight belt or universal, but I mean, in WWE, it all depends on how much popularity that person has, how good they are in the ring, what the relationship they have with like Triple H and the other people, and if they think that they can get ratings off of it. So remember, not every best wrestler gets the belt. Not every person that deserves it gets it. A lot of it is political, Yeah, that would be wild. That would be wild. EO, one of the best intros. I love seeing the Japanese representation. Bianca the GOAT with Charlotte Flair, but it's very cool to be able to see some Asian representation with some of these belts, like with Asuka and EO. Like if you would have said years ago that, EO was going to be champion, you would laugh. You're like, no way, WWE pushes. But that was a Vince thing. And now you can see with Triple H, they're trying to get a little bit more diversity, with the belts. It doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Asian, you're Mexican. Spread it around a little bit. It doesn't have to be the same fucking people over and over and over again. Sometimes you got to let those people that are a little bit lower tier-wise in popularity and wrestling skill have an opportunity with the belt. They don't have to have the belt for a fucking year, but you can give them a belt for a month, a couple months, or if you're a hater, at least fucking a pay-per-view, and then they lose it on Raw or whatever. But, give each wrestler an opportunity to shine, even if it's only going to be for a couple months, because that might be the only couple months they have in their whole career that they're world champ. So you got to look at it that way too. And I like it that Io Sky's got the belt. I don't know how long she'll have it. She might drop it to Bianca tonight, but we will see. And obviously Bianca is way more popular than Io Sky, so obviously trying to put the belt, on Ripley or Bianca or Charlotte or Tiffany Stratton one day with, she being kind of like a baby Charlotte Flair, and then you got someone like Asuka and Io, which the real wrestling fans appreciate them, but they're never going to have the belt for years, because like I said, it's not necessarily because they're Asian, but it's just, that's just how the business is. They're like, Asuka deserves to have the belt. Like, she's better than Io Sky overall. Asuka might be the most underappreciated female wrestler of all time. Like, she's just finally is getting like a little bit of love, with belt opportunities and whatnot. But seems like as soon as Asuka or someone gets a belt, they lose it, within either a couple weeks or a couple months. But it was at least cool in the time being to see a little Asuka and a little Io Sky love. So well, the Chiefs' struggles is a number of things. Not having any reliable wide receivers, the Taylor Swift distraction. I mean, it is a distraction. To act like it's not a distraction is ridiculous. It is, the defense has been playing well. Pacheco has been playing well, but Mahomes is playing like shit. The offensive line hasn't been that good, right? The wide receivers are dog shit. They haven't been playing good. Then you have this Swift shit, on top of that. So, but with all that being said, the Chiefs could still end up making the Super Bowl, but I don't think they'll win it this year if they make it. And I don't be surprised if the Chiefs don't make it and someone else does. Not saying that the Bills can do it, but maybe there'll be another team like the Dolphins or the Bengals that might get there. But Philadelphia looks like the best team as long as they don't have injuries to A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts, that they could get there and win this year. But, it's all about who's hot and healthy at the right time. I agree. I think Asuka should have this belt too. And I love Io Sky and whatever, but I think that Asuka, it's like she is the most underappreciated and the most talented female wrestler besides like Bianca and Charlotte and, some of those people and Ripley. But it seems like, Bianca and Charlotte and Ripley will have the belt a lot longer. But with Asuka, they just tease her. Like she's worked so well for so many years, never complained. And then it's like, instead of rewarding her with a 3 to 6 month run, they give her a very minimal run, like she's dog shit. They're treating her maybe how they should have treated Io Sky. Like Io should have maybe had the belt just a little bit, give her a month and then drop it, and then why don't you give Asuka a 3 to 6 month reign? She's earned it, and hopefully she'll get another opportunity with the belt for like a year straight. But I mean, I don't know if I'll ever see that happen. I mean, it'd be cool to see it, But I agree. That's what's just disappointing, for me, regardless of white, black, Mexican, Asian. Like there's certain people that have worked really hard and it's like, they'll have a run and then they just like take them for granted. Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler. It's like, I get it. They had their run like, 15, 20 years ago, but that doesn't mean that they don't deserve another run, and it's just like, just sad to see them play favorites with certain people and to have other people get kind of left in the dust, But real fans like me and a few of y'all, we know who the hard workers are, who are the good sellers are, who are the people that are underappreciated. And I'll always root for those underappreciated people, I feel like I have something in common with them. Asuka, 100% the most underappreciated, underrated. Well, it's not even close as far as women's. Like you could argue for her compared to any other woman out there. You got Ripley, you got Charlotte, you got Bianca. But if you look at Asuka's total body of work from Japan to here, it's not even close. It's like, name how many bad matches Asuka's had. Not really any. Like everything has been pretty fucking entertaining. And on top of that, Asuka doesn't do any top rope shit. She's not doing the Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, like flips off the top into the crowd or into the ring, but she finds other ways to be able to be entertaining with strong style, like with Shinsuke. But she's more talented than Shinsuke even. So hopefully Asuka will have a run of a champ, for at least a year before her career is over. I hope they do that for her. She's really deserved it and she earns it. But it's like, I like seeing matches where it's like, Bianca, Ripley, Charlotte, Asuka, fatal 4-way, or I get Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka. Give me, a triple threat. Like I want to be able to see the best of the best. So like, how long was Asuka's reign? Like literally like a month? Like it was like nothing. Like they acted like, like they were doing her a favor by giving her the belt. Like she didn't really deserve it, but they were just trying to appease her and then maybe the Asian fans. Like, come on. Yeah. Calvin, I 100% agree.
But obviously, the strategy is work on the injured leg. That became apparent in the early goings. The second we saw that dragon screw to the knee, it was a complete game changer.
I think real fans, I mean, it depends on how long you've been a fan for, you know. If you've been watching for years and years and years, or if you've just started watching, but, you know.
But tonight might be a first. After trying to fight out the situation, swinging, cracking Scott in the face 6 or 7 times.
Mark Henry, disrespect. Sensual chocolate. What you know about that?
Momentary reprieve perhaps for Bella. Sky using her quickness there. Now the genius in the sky.
I wish there was more like good female wrestlers too, so that way that we could do like a tag division. Like I wish there was like a lot more that were out there, so that way we could do like Asuka and Io as a tag, you know, and actually have like, you know, good matches with the tag division, but we're just not there yet. Finley jumping to conclusions. Finley got the sensual chocolate posters in his room. Can't be disrespecting the Mark Henry. Yeah, they didn't give him enough of a run either. But the one that makes me the irritated the most is the Sheamus and then the Dolph Ziggler. Those were the ones that they deserved to have more runs. You know, specifically Dolph Ziggler. You know, he was the most underappreciated, I feel, superstar, you know, after his title run. At least with Sheamus, you know, there was like triple threats with like Drew McIntyre where you saw Sheamus kind of in the mix. After Dolph Ziggler had his initial run, they pretty much buried him into mediocrity. And it's like, oh, you want to go with Bobby Roode? And like, we'll put you here with, you know, with the tag guy. I mean, that's not, you know, what Dolph's deserved. And then they let him go. Like, I don't know. Like, he was way too talented on the microphone and in the ring. You know, like they did him dirty. I mean, can you guys think of anybody else, you know, that's gotten more underappreciated in wrestling than Dolph? You know, after they had their championship run, either being world champ or IC champ, and then pretty much nothing the rest of the way. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen someone get that much minimal work after being champ like 15 years later. Like, you couldn't think of any other angle to put Dolph in, like, unless he wasn't liked in the back. I'm not sure what his relationship was with Triple H and the other wrestlers, if he was like kind of an asshole, you know, or whatever. Maybe that had to do with it. But as far as what he did on the mic and in the ring, I felt that, you know, very underappreciated. They could have did so much more with Dolph. Yeah. I thought, and the best part about Dolph is that he sold moves the best. If you go back and watch old Dolph matches, like, you know, DDTs, you know, body slams, you know, fucking pile drivers, like, he sold moves really well. Like, arguably maybe one of the best in WWE in the last 20 years. There isn't very many people that sold moves as good as him. So I look for those little underlining things too, you know. You don't have to be the most popular. I always look at, you know, the full body of work, you know, regardless if you're a fan favorite or not. Like, I have to look at the full body of work, and then I look to see who I feel is, oh, what a move by Bianca.
What do I have to do to beat Io Sky? What is my body capable of at this point? Deep down, deep. Give everything you got.
Ohio State 28, Rutgers 16. You knew they weren't going to win. Kansas State only down by 3 to Texas, 30-27. That's close. But Texas has got the ball, so I assume they're going to win. Two. Should have hit her with the Styles Clash right there. Well, you got no Brandon Spikes out there, brother. You know, it ain't no fucking Swamp Kings, you know. You got to realize that once you get guys like Tim Tebow and Brandon Spikes, those guys don't come around often. Wow, Clemson beat Notre Dame. That's tough. Imagine Odin's son. That's not that sucks for him. What's the score in the Florida game? Bailey out there. Two. Did you lose, or how much time is left? How much time is left, brother? $33-30 Florida up by 3. Okay, I see now. Well, it looks like you're going to win as long as your defense can hold now. You got 3 minutes left for Arkansas, right? Good luck, bro. It's time to fly, baby. Oh, nice high risk by EO. And too bad Dakota Kai got injured. I was really liking Damage Control too. I mean, Judgment Day is my favorite faction in WWE, but I like the trio of them together, because obviously them all, you know, by themselves, no one gives a shit, but them together, you know, like, I like it. Sometimes you got to be able to have a faction to bring people together. Like, why the hell did the Hurt Business, you know, they should have never got rid of that. That was one of the dumbest things that WWE ever did. Think about how many factions and how many different rivalries that you could have had if you never broke that shit up. That was stupid. That must have been a Vince thing. He must have been a hater towards them. He was a hater towards the brothers, right? Like, let them have the faction, damn it. Vince was just such a fucking hater towards factions all the time. It's like, sometimes that's a part of wrestling, man. It's about that faction life. Nice athleticism from Bianca. Did Bianca do gymnastics when she was younger as a kid, as a young girl? Because she definitely got like a gymnastics kind of like vibe. Nice. Crossbody.
Obviously, an accident. It's all going wrong for damage control now. Belair now stalking the champion. Sending her into the barricade. Understanding.
Yeah, well, you can tell she's an athlete, that she probably played, basketball or soccer or whatever. Like, you could tell that she's got the athleticism, but Chief in the building. What's good? Ran track. Yeah, I was going to say there was something that she did to help out with this athleticism. Kairi Sane, wow, we haven't seen her in a minute. Nice. Oh, it's all good, Chief. I'll be doing Huskies and USC in a couple hours, in about 4 hours. It's like those surprises that you don't know that are going to happen. The Kairi Sane, that's fucking cool. Obviously, her and Io could be like a tag team. And then maybe that's another person they can add to damage control while Dakota Kai is injured. You already knew there was going to be some run-ins in this match. I it's really funny too. I was wondering when we were going to see her. I was like, it's been a minute. Oh, 1, 2. Cheating always prospers. How's everything going for you, Chief? I'll be waking up early. I'm not going to stream it, but I will be watching the Dolphins and Chiefs. I'm going to wake up at probably 6, and then try to get a walk in with Paisley, and then we're gonna watch that game. Won't stream it, but I'll be watching, and then I'll do a few reaction videos, and then we'll do Sunday Night Football. Good matchups this weekend. Dolphins, Chiefs, fire. Seahawks, Ravens, fire. Bucks, Texans, I think will actually be pretty fire. Cowboys, Eagles, fire. Bills, Bengals, fire. Big elbow. But you got 5 really, really good matchups. Yeah, Dakota Kai is injured, so can't be her. But Dolphins, Chiefs, that's fire. Hawks, Ravens, that's fire. Cowboys, Eagles is fire. Bills, Bengals is fire. And then you got a couple matchups that could be a little surprising that might be better than people think. Chargers, Jets, maybe Colts, Panthers, possibly Vikings, Falcons, Bucks, Texans. They're not going to be as good as those other matchups, but they might be a little better than what it looks like on paper. So, wow, big victory there. All right, we're down to 2 matches left? We got 2 matches left. So we got Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest next, and then we'll have Roman and LA Knight. LA Knight, yeah. And then I'll go take Paisley on a walk, make a thumbnail for the Michael Penix Jr. and Caleb Williams at 4:30, and then we'll be back at 4:30, and I'll grind it out, and we'll do that game. The real question is Damian Priest actually have the briefcase back, or does Sammy still have it? That's the real question.
NBA legend Allen Iverson is sports medical. This instant offer is kind of like my crossover. Just place your bet, and it's money. Oh, he did.
Score 2 great NBA offers. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, no sweat same game parlays every day. The crown is yours.
So far, so good as far as a pay-per-view. I would say a solid 8 so far. And then we'll see what we get out of the last 2 matches. And if we get really solid matches. It's been like an 8.5 overall. If we end up getting solid matches at the end, then we'll probably call this pay-per-view a 9. 9.5. But it all depends on what we get here and on the last match. We will see. We will see. 52 doll hairs, 48 to go. I'm going to go check up on Paisley, use the restroom real quick. Heels are the best. Face, boo. Heels, best.
Keep it down there, would you? There's some work going on over here. Used to collecting more of those memories. One WWE action figure at a time.
This job is awesome.
Exclusively from Mattel.
You got all the gifts you need when you're rolling through the rack. Grandma got a lot of drip, but she likes to keep that. So I throw up the flippers on the road and so the parties I got shine. Got the fits, got the gifts, that put me on the list. Of the bubble in my eye. Yeah.
That's crap, nigga. Hustle. My daughter's always going to say, I got a boot so she can.
Great gifts, great prices. We got you. In stores, on our app, and online.
Burgerville's new tostada burger piles local ingredients like 3 peppered cheddar, cilantro, chipotle mayo, and crispy tortilla on a grass-fed burger. Not your typical burger. Burgerville.
Since the City Custom Cash Card automatically adjusts to earn me more cash back in my top eligible category, suddenly life's feeling a little more automatic. Oh, automatic's actually me.
Our cashback automatically adjusts to how you spend with the City Custom Cash Card.
Oh, sick headphones. Yours really work.
These are great. You should get them.
I know. I really need to get done.
New Quaker Fruit Fusion with real fruit pieces. A bold start to a bold morning. Quaker, getting up to some good since 1877. Full Black Friday early access continues with our 3-day deal. Hurry and get Lego sets for 30% off, Levi's for 40% off, and save on select Keurig coffee makers with coupons. Then take 15% off some of your faves and a Pulse Cash at Kohl's.
All right. All right, 2 matches to go. Sun is actually coming out here in Oregon. That's nice. It's good to see. Ospreay to WWE, maybe. Yeah. MJF to WWE, more than likely. Eventually, some of these guys, I mean, besides Kenny Omega, I'd be very shocked if Kenny goes to WWE ever. But if it's anybody besides him or the Young Bucks, I mean, I would assume that, Ospreay, might make his way there. MJF going to WWE almost is I don't want to say it's almost a guarantee, but I'd be shocked if MJF stays in AEW for his whole career. Like maybe does AEW, feels like he accomplished everything that he can accomplish there, goes to WWE, see how they treat him, if they actually give him a belt or if they give him the runaround, and then ends up going back to AEW to end his career maybe. I mean, we'll see. We will see. Kansas State and Texas in OT. Go Kansas State. Texas might be overrated, even though they had that great win against Alabama. So far, so good. I would say a solid 8.5 so far. But again, if these two last matches underwhelm, then we'll probably say 8.5. But if they do great, then we'll probably say 9.5 overall. I mean, really, the only bad match was the Cena match. But other than that, with Cena and Solo, everything else has been pretty good. Bama not good this year. That win means absolutely nothing. I mean, something. I mean, they're not good this year. That's true. Bama isn't good this year, but I mean, most of the time, regardless if they're good or bad, beating Georgia or Bama has some significance. It would mean a lot more if it was Bama 2-3 years ago, or it's like when Johnny Football beat Alabama. That one meant something, Shout out to Cody Rhodes for giving away the weight belt. It's got to be the coolest thing that you can get from a wrestler nowadays. There's nothing cooler than that. Let's go. Ospreay and Seth. Oh God, yeah, of course that would be epic. I mean, every time we've seen Kenny Omega and fucking Ospreay go at it, it's been a 10 out of 10. I can't even tell you how many matches, that they've had that they have been just off the charts. Most of the Kenny Omega Ospreay matches would be better than anything WWE's produced in the last 10 years. I don't even know how WWE fans would react to something like that. I don't think they even understand what type of match that they would be able to get if they had something like that. Because I guarantee the average WWE fan has no idea who Will Ospreay is, and let alone don't even realize how good Kenny Omega is either. So, I think that Ospreay and Omega have had 5-star matches every time they never have had a match that hasn't been one of the best of the year or best in a long, long time. That's saying something. Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and Seth Rollins triple threat. Could you imagine that if we ever got that? That would be crazy. Yeah, most people don't, though. The average WWE fan that only watches WWE, they have no idea. They might have heard of Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega isn't the most famous name in wrestling, right? Yeah, which is he's underrated and slept on, unless you watch AEW or are a fan of his work in Japan. And then Ospreay's even a lower name than Kenny Omega. And God, I mean, as far as athleticism is concerned, I mean, you could argue Ospreay is one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the business, and he has been for a long fucking time, but nobody really knows him.
I've got to tell you, a big part of me did not believe Cody when he told me he was near enough 100%. That reaction on that tells me he's clearly not. That's just fighting big talk from Cody Rhodes, perhaps trying to convince himself that he's healthier than he really is. Damian Priest had a plan a couple of weeks ago. I know he was going into this match against Rhodes. Take out Cody. Don't allow him to be 100%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that like I said, I kind of had a feeling Logan was going to win this weekend. You know, like I said, they weren't going to give him a belt within the first couple matches, but now that's like his 8th or 9th match. You know, most of them have been on pay-per-view, hasn't had a bad, outing, as a wrestler. Everything has been entertaining and fun and good, whether you love him or hate him. And, good for him. And I actually like the fact that he cheated to win. I mean, if you're already a natural born heel, roll with it. Just like with Dirty Dom. The dirtier, the better. Two. Florida and Arkansas going to OT, huh? Oh, well, if he joined and he was shit, then they would have cut him. Like I said, they wouldn't have, as long as, how long their, deal was, they just wouldn't have had him on TV anymore. They would have signed him, and then, it's like what they did with like Ronda Rousey. You're only going to be able to take it so long before people realize that you're not very good at what you do. But the good thing that he has that Ronda doesn't is he was always able to talk on the mic, and that's what got him fame, is being able to talk on the microphone. So if you're already a good talker, now we just got to see what you can do in the ring. And then if your, in-ring ability matches your mic skills, then you're going to get a job. And that's exactly what happened. But the main thing was to try to get his followers to become WWE fans. For those people that watch his videos, the little kids, that watch his prank videos and all the other bullshit that he pulls out and Impulsive and all that, right? You're trying to get that fan base to buy his merch, to actually watch, WWE pay-per-views. And, that's the whole point. It's about money and merch and getting more people to follow WWE, a whole nother audience of fans that maybe didn't even care about wrestling, but now Logan Paul is there, Same thing with Taylor Swift and the Swifties, getting a bunch of fucking, Swifties that don't know anything about football, but now they own 4 Travis Kelce jerseys and act like they're experts in the NFL, Yeah, popular at first. People loved her, obviously, because you remember what she did on the UFC side before she lost Holly Holm and, beat her ass and knocked her out. But prior to that, I mean, she was just a monster out there. People loved rooting for her, kind of like Conor McGregor on the top of the world, and then got your ass kicked a couple times, and then kind of no one really cared anymore. It's like you got to make sure you take advantage of your run while you have it, because it's not going to last forever. I mean, at one point, Ronda and Conor were like the 2 biggest things, at that particular time. And, times can change. But also, too, if you're not good on the microphone, you're not good in the ring, you're robotic, you're injuring people. And it's one thing if you're like a wrestler going into UFC, but to go from UFC to wrestling is impossible because you're used to punching people in the face and knocking them out and giving them people black eyes and knocking their teeth out. Now you have to be able to scale back. And you have to be able to hit with an open hand. Not going to happen. You're already programmed to hurt. And then now you have to be able to scale back and like pretend that you're punching like half-assed, like a lot of people don't know how to do that, especially when you're, going at somebody. Yeah, Kyrie Sangbag, that was sweet. It's cool that we have surprises every once in a while. But if it wasn't Holly Holm, it would have been someone else. Like you already knew that it was coming, like as good as Conor and as good as Rousey was, there's always anybody can knock out anybody in the chin, if you get hit right. Like you can be a little person, you could be like 5'5", and 200 pounds and go up against someone that's 6'3". But if you hit them in that right temple or right in that sweet spot, you'll knock anybody out. It's just, a matter of if you get hit hard enough in that spot. So Dirty Dom, one of my favorites. Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom, Dom, Dirty, Dom, Dirty, Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom. Hi, Paisley. Dad's almost done. I got one more match after this one, and we'll go for a walk. Oh, big super kick. Uso, bang! Yeah, we get some surprises now. Bang! Yes. Surprise after surprise. I love it. Even if it's a run-in. It's like, you want to make sure you're giving the Saudi fans something. It's like, even if you're not going to get, the Usos, or if you're going to get, at least let them see them. Like, at least get a little action. Bionic elbow like his daddy. 2. Elliot, thank you for helping out on the Twitter X side. I appreciate it. Everything helps. Anybody that's got a Twitter X account, that'll help out. Crossroads blocked. Yeah, I just feel the way that Triple H is running shit, it's so much better than when Vince was running it. Like, you actually get surprises. You actually get belt changes. It's not just so fucking, top heavy with like Vince's big guys. Like, if you were a big guy, Vince probably loved you. You know what I mean? And like, the matches sometimes were really shitty. 2. Like, no one on planet Earth wants to see Seth Rollins and Omos. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what fucking planet Vince was living in. Apparently, I don't know where he was thinking that he was at, but he was in McMahonville, and that's all that mattered. He's like, okay, this is a good match. Seth and Omos. No one wants to see that. Yeah, but Cody is the only one that should win the belt off Roman when Roman drops it. There's no one else that would be in the same stratosphere, reaction, like I said, to have it go full circle, that would be the only person that should win the belt from Roman. Now, others that could, like Seth or Drew McIntyre, but it wouldn't have the same effect with the fans, moving forward. Like, really, this is the only option. Crossroads. Do it again. Do it again. Crossroads. Do it again. Crossroads. There you go. There we go. Nobody, like they say, LA Knight is over. You know what I mean? But he ain't as good of a wrestler as Cody Rhodes. Not even close. Whoa is way better than LA Knight, yeah. But we're just going to have to wait for Cody to get the belt, and then he'll get the proper, royal treatment. Once he actually gets the belt from Roman, it'll be a big moment in sports for wrestling. And if you thought Cody had fans now, once he actually gets the belt, then the bandwagon fans will hop on too, so. And Cody will cry. You know what I mean? Like, emotions will get the best of him once he actually gets the belt, because he'll be thinking about his brother, Gold Dust, but more importantly, his dad, Dusty Rhodes. Like it's gonna mean a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a big, big day when that happens. LA Knight versus Logan Paul title match. For what? For the Universal? Or are you talking about for the United States? Or what championship? Like LA Knight trying to beat Logan Paul for his belt? Or are you talking about like world championship belt? US title? How are they going to have LA Knight go for the fucking Universal title and lose, and then he's going to go to the US? Is that what they're going to do? You're going to go from the top dog, and then you're going to go to Logan Paul? I mean, obviously that would be a matchup that could happen, It's like, oh, we're going to give you an opportunity to not get the belt, even though some people think he's going to get it tonight, which he won't. 0% chance. And normally we will never say 0, but it is 0. They're just putting him in the event with Roman, Add something to the resume. LA Knight and Logan Paul. And then if that happens, what, LA Knight will get the belt from Logan Paul after Logan Paul is champ now, or LA Knight loses to Logan Paul? Like, how many times are you going to have the most over person in sports lose? You're going to have LA Knight lose to Roman, then LA Knight loses to Logan Paul, and then what? And LA Knight joins the tag team and he loses that too? Oh, of course. It's all a stepping stone. Anyone they put in against Roman, it's just a jobber that they're going to fucking, you're popular, so we're throwing you in there, to make the fans happy, all the LA Knight chants and all the merch sales, so that way they don't feel that they're wasting their money on someone that's not actually climbing the ladder, But it's like LA Knight got a 0% chance to win. Tozawa, that's a fucking champ right there. Megastar with no belts. And it don't even matter. Roman can win clean. Roman can win dirty. Roman can win with a fucking run-in.
Life is what you make it. It's false. Life is what you made of. I'm made from a different false. Life is where you come from. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm tear-proof and I'm fear-proof. I feel like a boss. I've been feeling it to live in this life.
I'm looking at the material. I'm your tribal chief. What it means, I can do whatever it is I want to do.
All I know is right.
All of a sudden, it's everywhere. What's going on is, I'm the best decision this company ever made. Nobody back there can touch me. Sooner or later, one way or another, you will be called the champ. Yeah. Because who's getting busy? We everybody say. Who the hell you think you are sitting in my ring right now? I'm the fastest rising star in SmackDown history. You know why You've been sitting at home on the couch for the last month and a half. That gold title around your waist. Things have changed just a little bit. Tell them who's getting this is. Sure, there can be only one WWE champion. Yeah, they ain't ever gonna change you. They're not gonna know who you are. You're gonna disappear. There can only be one man. We're gonna end you. I'm coming to take over everything that you stand for. When I'm done, we're gonna lead you to this one. There's nothing you can do about it.
LA Knight got 0% chance of winning. 0. They're not going to have LA Knight beat Roman Reigns in fucking Saudi Arabia for Roman to drop the belt. 0% chance. If Roman's dropping the belt, it's in the States. 100%. 100. Roman could be unconscious in the middle of the ring and they'll still have Roman win. Not happening. No LA Knight. Not happening. But it's finally, it gives him an opportunity to be on top, in a match, for based on all the popularity and all the haters and all the people that didn't think he'd be able to sell the merch and, But again, if he wasn't good on the microphone, then this doesn't happen, period. Not even close. You have to be good on the mic and you actually have to have some kind of ring presence too. Yeah, Cody is the only one that it could really make any sense. There's no one else that really makes sense at the time. Because you got to look at the WWE's future, you know what I mean? If you're going to fucking make us sit through this bloodline shit for like 5 years, it's like you got to make it worth it. And the only thing that's going to make it worth it at the very end, if it ends up being someone that he fought earlier with Cody Rhodes. So. Because, like, even if you had LA Knight win, how is the crowd going to react? Like, are they really going to care that much? Is he going to be able to hold the belt down for the company? Are you a face of the company? LA Knight is pretty good and he's popular, but he's not good enough to be the face of the company like Cody or Seth. I mean, if you're doing it based off TV, T-shirt sales, yeah, with LA Knight. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I feel with like LA Knight fans, it's a bunch of bandwagon people. You know what I mean? Like everyone likes to hop on something while they're hot. And then, once they're not, then they disappear. Like, are they still going to be wearing these LA Knight shirts 5-10 years from now? I highly doubt it. All right, here we go. Main event. You got to think about the psychology of wrestling too. It's like you had a guy that's had the belt for over 1,000 days, and you're going to give it to a guy that just got popular within like the last 8 months and has had T-shirt sales for 3 months. Like you're going to give the belt to that guy, It's like you got to give it to like someone like Cody with the the name with the Rhodes family, or someone like Seth Rollins. The two guys that actually would deserve it, that could hold it down after Roman leaves. LA Knight, holding it down while Roman leaves does not make any sense whatsoever. LA Knight is a guy that if he ends up winning the belt, he'll win it for like a month and then he'll lose it the next pay-per-view. 100%. Like the longest you would have an LA Knight run would be maybe 2 months, 3 months at max, but nothing longer than that. Yeah, but when you're like 40 years old and getting your break like DDP, it's not like fucking LA Knight's 20, and can run this shit for the next 10 or 15 years. Like if you're like 40 years old, I mean, literally, how much time do you really have left? Maybe 5-6 years? If you keep your body in good shape and you're still relevant, it's like, are we going to see LA Knight when he's 50? But I am happy that LA Knight got a chance to break through like DDP. So to prove to people, like, even if you start late to get your popularity, at least you got it, Instead of him being a fucking manager or whatever, like they tried to have him come in. Different name, manager. I mean, come on. And I don't think Vince was a fan of him. This is more of a Triple H thing. Merch sales type of thing. Taking advantage of someone that's got presence on the microphone. Because for me, like LA Knight in the ring is like, 7, 8. On the microphone, it's a 10. You know what I mean? But like with Seth Rollins, it's a 10 on the mic and a 10 in the ring. It's a difference. Cody Rhodes, on the microphone, pretty good, even with the lisp. I would say his microphone skills are up there, probably like a 9, even though he's got the lisp and whatnot. And then his in-ring stuff is a 10. So, you got to go with someone that's overall a better product. So Max Dupree. And then you got two guys that are slow and kind of boring. So it's like you got Roman, who's tall and slow and boring. And then you got LA Knight, who's, do these guys really, like, if we're popularity aside, right? Popularity aside, I mean, does anyone really get excited about what these guys do in the ring? Now it's more about what they do shit talking wise. Like what, what I'm saying? Catchphrases, t-shirt sales. But like, if we're actually talking about in-ring presence, these guys are kind of boring. Let's be honest. I'd rather watch Seth and Cody wrestle than these two. Just saying. Let them know, David. Dave Chappelle's dad says, hit the fucking like button. Hit the thumb button. David Chappelle. My boy. But one thing that I will give Roman, even though I'm a big Shield guy, right? Always loved Roman and Seth and fucking Dean Ambrose together, but Roman was always last because his mic skills were terrible. He finally has gotten to a point where he's actually respectable on the mic, where he can actually, let that ego of having the belt that long and being the man, and then it actually transformed him on the microphone to actually be halfway decent. Now, is he one of the best in the world? No, but he's a hell of a lot better than when he was with the Shield, where he couldn't even cut a promo. So Roman has evolved on the microphone, but as far as in ring, the same boring shit that he did back then with the Shield is the same boring shit that you're going to get now.
But this is a man, Roman Reigns, who's weathered the storm time and time again. Now, Roman Hockey LA United is WWE fans here tonight. Again, these are waters that LA United has never swum in. He's never done.
I don't know. I feel like with the matches with guys like this, it's more about like the hype and the popularity, but it definitely like underwhelms. It's like we can get a run in and we can get a return, but if we're actually talking about pure wrestling, I mean, if you're a Shawn Michaels fan, you should already know this. Like when you watched him in the ring, I mean, it's something that you're never going to see again. Same thing with like Bret Hart. It's like it's one thing when you have all this hype and everything and you're talking shit back and forth, but when it actually comes to the actual wrestling that we're watching in the match, it's boring. It's not as, you know what I mean? Like not compared to some of the others that they have on the roster. But again, they decided to put Roman with the belt, and this is what they decided that they wanted the image of WWE to be. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's not going to be as entertaining as something that's more fast-paced. It is what it is. There's nothing that we can do about it, But these are the type of wrestlers that I wouldn't really go out of my way to watch. You know, it's like, oh my God, Roman's wrestling. Do I really care? You know, like if it's against like Cody and I know Cody has a chance to win the belt, maybe, but I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that's like, oh, Roman is my favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, unless you're like a bandwagon person, you know, just because he's had the belt or you're a little kid and this is all you know, you know. Paul Heyman, too chubby, couldn't even climb up under the ropes. Tried to climb up in the ropes and slip. Chubby dog, going a diet dog. Too many hamburgers dog. Come on, Paul. Paul, eat dangerously. Less hamburgers, more exercise. Climb the ropes properly. Appreciate that, David. Oh, big elbow to the throat. David in the building. Daniel in the building. What's good? I don't know. For me, like I said, growing up in the 80s and 90s, maybe ECW and some of the legends in the 80s and 90s kind of spoiled it for me. You know what I mean? But it's like once you start seeing some of the best of all time, and then you're just left with these pieces that are left now, you know, it is what it is. Oh, it's not who I think is going to win. It's who's going to win. And Roman, 100%. LA Knight has 0% chance. I mean, even if the show was in America, LA Knight, 0% chance to win. It's like all it is just giving you a chance to be seen, you know, with all the popularity and all the t-shirt sales that you've made in the last 6 months. That's all it is. Oh, Peacock cut you off, huh? All right, we got the Ducks game coming on here in about an hour and 15 minutes. This will be over, I would assume, in about 15. I'll go on a walk with Paisley, start working on the thumbnail for the Huskies and the Trojans. Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, best college football game this weekend. And I'll be back at 4:30 after this is over. What's part about being a heel? It's the psychology of wrestling. You know, it's like, you know, Logan Paul. Can Logan Paul win clean? Yeah, but if you're already hated and you're already a heel, you might as well cheat to win. I mean, that's what, you know, wrestling used to be in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and that's one thing that they've carried over. If you're already going to be a heel and not a face, you might as well be the, you know, worst possible heel you could be. And, you know, if that means cheating every time to win, then so be it. Max Dupree. Oh, yeah. Cal's got 0% chance. We're going to beat the brakes off of them. I would assume that we'll win by more than 20. But it is cool to see the national media start to give Bo Nix and Oregon love, how some people actually think Oregon might be the best team in the country. I think that's cool. Like, you haven't really heard, you know, a lot of people talk nice about Oregon in a long time, even when we had Mariota, even when we had Chip Kelly coaching, you know. So it's pretty cool to be able to see we're getting a little bit of a pub and a little love. Like when Urban Meyer said that shit this morning, I was like, hold up. You got to be shitting me. You really think Oregon's the best team in college football? And he doesn't like the fucking Pac-12. If anything, he's going to fucking talk up the Big Ten, you know, and those schools and whatnot. So that was a little shocking and surprising, you know, but sometimes I guess you don't get a biased opinion, you know, you'll get with the truth out of some of these guys once in a while.
You understand, right, that it's been almost 4 years since Roman Reigns was pinned in a singles match. He was pinned
You got the drunk kid in the background. CM Punk. CM Punk. Oh God. That's hilarious. I mean, like I said, it all depends if you like real or if you like fake. And I feel that ever since McAfee made the transition to ESPN, more fake things are coming out of his mouth. And that's the whole purpose that we didn't, like the other guys, and we liked him because he was real. And then now it's like you're a property of ESPN. So now you're just as fake as them. You know, it sucks because I really like Pat McAfee's show and what Pat is all about. But ever since joining this ESPN brand, almost everything that comes out of his mouth is fake, and I don't like it. I don't watch the show anymore. I can only watch Good Morning Football now, and that's it. You know, it's like if you're on fucking College Game Day and you know that the team at home, is going to lose, but you still pick them to win, then you're just being fake. You already know damn well that Utah wasn't going to beat Oregon last week. You're just doing it to appease the fans. It's terrible. Well, thank God Odin's son decided to donate big. Otherwise, today would have not been good. And I appreciate you, Sarah, too, for chipping in. And then hopefully we can get to the goal tonight, or at least half of the goal if we don't get to the goal. But hopefully we get some people coming through that care about the Huskies and the Trojans. And then, we can end up getting some good numbers on that stream. I don't think there's going to be that many people on YouTube doing that game either. So, I should be able to get some good ratings there on good views on that too. Yes, air freshener smells bomb. Shaldan, real fruit aroma, lemon. Making my room smell great. Lemons everywhere. Yeah, so I'm streaming the Washington Huskies #5 versus #20 USC Trojans. Two quarterbacks that could be picked first and second in the draft. So obviously I want to make sure I do that. Normally I do Oregon games because I'm a Duck fan, but they're playing Cal and that's going to be a boring game. So, I mean, not really boring for me or Matt. We'll love it. But again, as far as trying to get more people in the room and whatnot, then it just makes sense to do the Huskies and Trojans. And this might be the only matchup that they play against each other. So I don't want to miss it. So best college football matchup this weekend. So definitely not going to miss that. All right, at least we're getting a little bit of speed picking up in this match. To TJ Yeldon, yeah.
feeding off the WWE fans. Roman Reigns crumbles in a heap. His feet, LA Knight. Roman Reigns able to duck underneath. And he wants LA Knight with the rock bottom. Cover it. Got nothing to kick out. Two. And just when you build up that momentum as the challenger, just when you start punching this god of the ring in the face in a heartbeat, he turns it around like that. LA Knight able to survive, still in this match. And maybe now convincing Roman Reigns that he does belong on this stage. Reigns has been dismissive, but right now, if you're a betting man, you are only backing the tribal chief. Roman is locked and loaded. promo might work against every other person on the roster. It just takes too long to execute against Roman Reigns. I'll probably see him for the cover off the neck breaker to Reigns. There's a time to showboat, and there's a time to realize you are in there with the greatest that we have in this present day. It is an incredible atmosphere at WWE Crown Jewel. Our main event tonight, Roman Reigns and his record reign.
Yeah, so I'm doing this, and then I'm in Oregon. So once this is over, like I said, the Husky game isn't until 3 hours from now. It's at 4:30. It's 1:25 now. So once this is over in 5 or 10 minutes, I'll have about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to myself to go exercise with my pup, and then I got to make a thumbnail for that Husky Trojan game, and then I'll be back in like 3 hours from now. Daniel say he suck. SUCC. Honestly, both of these guys in the ring suck. I mean, I get it. They got popularity and all, but they're not for me. You know, I'm more of a Seth Rollins guy. I actually like talent, in the ring and on the mic, not just one or the other. So, yeah. But some people love him, Daniel. Some people love Roman Reigns. They love, what he does and what he's about and whatnot. So, I feel like also a lot of the fans that loved Roman are like not really loving him as much because they fucking stretched this bloodline shit way too long. Like, but again, they tried to make Roman the longest tenured, WWE superstar of all time. They tried to make him like, the David and Goliath, like, a streak so crazy that no one's going to beat it for a long, long time. So. Two. I don't know. For me, Roman Reigns matches never have done it for me, ever. Like, I don't care if he's got belts or if he doesn't have belts. Like, he's just not that good of a wrestler in the ring. He's better on the microphone than what he was. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know. Like, give me Jimmy or Jay, in the ring over Roman any day. Jimmy and Jay are fun, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, give me them. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't know. Some of these guys are just, they're a watch, but I don't get excited about it. Ooh. Yeah, because it's part of their MO. It's a part of who they are. They're always going to have run-ins and cheat. They're not going to have Roman win clean ever. And even if they did, no one would care. Like, Roman wins clean, big whoop. Roman wins dirty, big whoop. Like, it's not like Roman's going to turn into The Rock and hit the box office and he's going to be like some fucking Hollywood superstar. Like, you got some charisma and whatnot, but you're not a good enough talker to be like The Rock. Sorry. You're never going to be Rock. You're never going to be Stone Cold. LA Knight, you're not going to be those guys either. It's like sometimes these guys always try to be like guys from the past, and you're not going to be able to replicate the greatness from the 80s and 90s. It's just, sorry, it's not going to happen. I don't care how long you have the goddamn belt for 15 years straight. People are not going to be saying down the road, Roman Reigns is my favorite wrestler of all time. Said no one ever, People are going to say Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Rock, Stone Cold. Not one goddamn person's going to say fucking Roman Reigns, especially after he loses the belt and then he's nowhere to be seen. You think anyone's going to still be rocking the Roman t-shirts and all that other shit? Fuck no. It's going to be going in the closet, in the drawer. Like, honestly, Roman might be the most boring, world champion that we've ever had. This is not the same thing like when Undertaker is champ, where the Undertaker actually is a vibe, Give me Undertaker all day, any day over fucking Roman if we're talking about a bigger type of wrestler. Now they're hitting him with the Roman sucks. Roman matches are like Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a moment or two where there's going to be a little excitement, but for the most part, we're just waiting for it to get fucking over. You know, it's like, oh, you know, some fucking bullshit at the end. Well, what's new? You know, just like how Brock matches were. Now LA Knight is trying to Hulk up. Just playing to the crowd, you know, for all those Saudi princes that paid like $5,000 for their front row seat, you know, just making money, you know, playing to the crowd, selling merch, making money. WWE. This match is nowhere near what Seth Rollins' match was at the very beginning of the show. You know, if this was supposed to be like the best match of the night, it clearly is not. 1, 2. I like you. He says, I like you. That was the most entertaining thing in the match right there. I like you. I like you. I don't know. Sometimes when you got too much muscles, like, you know, it's like you're not entertaining. You know what I mean? Like if you're too like fucking roided up, like you're not going to make a good wrestler. Like you might have the body and the look, but again, it's not about your look. It's about, can you talk on the mic and can you wrestle? Even if you're a little flabby, even if you know you don't have like the perfect wrestler body like KO. Give me KO or Sami Zayn all day over these two. You don't have to have the steroid ripped body to be a superstar. Looks aren't everything. They've said that as well. Saudi Prince is getting their money's worth. Actually, now they're not. Overpaid about $4,000. But if this is the only opportunity they have to see, you know, these guys in person, they'll pay. And they did. That was probably the most boring main event that we've had in months. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, are you going to remember that match? Was there anything that LA Knight did that you're going to remember, or Roman Reigns did that make you remember that match? No. That was terrible. Fucking terrible. But at least we got a few awesome matches early on. Seth Rollins, that match was probably the best match that we saw. All right, I'm going to go walk my dog. And obviously it's raining really hard out there, so I got to be able to time this just right. But I enjoyed the pay-per-view overall. Wish the main event was a little bit better, but it's kind of what I expected it to be. You know, until we actually get Cody Rhodes beating Roman, that will only be the actual main event that'll be exciting. You know, that one will be exciting because you'll know it's going to happen, but you just want to see the build-up until it does happen. And that will actually be worth the money at that point. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And like I said, some matches were good. Some matches underwhelmed. The Logan Paul match actually was pretty good. Seth Rollins match was definitely the best of the night. And I'll be back in about 3 hours for the Huskies and the Trojans. And I got one question to ask you. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.